Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Touch this week. I mean, honestly, we're calling it First Touch, but honestly, we should call this T Bates birthday bash, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Bates, of course. Can we get some hearts in the chat for T Bates on his birthday? He's 25 today. Is love that, love that.
Wait, how old?
25.
Yeah.
Relax, okay? Relax. We already got everybody called him 40. Listen, Bates is 25.
Oh, no.
25 in the chat. But of course, gentlemen, Dazarin, roll this T-Base. We got a good show for you guys today, and we are going to get it locked in. But of course, gentlemen, how we doing?
Chilling, man. Beautiful day. Woke up bright and early. Got my cup of coffee, and I'm good. I'm ready to go. There's a lot to talk about today, so let's get to it.
I'm good, man. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to be alive in this world that we live in. So I have absolutely no complaints, and it's just ready to have a great show. We got some really great guests coming on. It's gonna be some really great topics. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and it's really gonna show just how much First Touch can do and what First Touch brings to the scene. Because I'm excited. I'm excited to sit back, relax, and listen to the yap. That's my plan.
Got to kick our feet up today.
That's my plan for the day, because they got some yappers on here. I might interject there once in a while, but I don't know. For some reason, people try to call me really biased, and all I'm saying is you haven't seen me tweet nothing the whole entire season. I've just been real calm and neutral.
Man,
they've been calling for it too.
I know they've been calling for me, but I just been cool with it. Like I just been cool. But hey, listen, they've had other people who've been stirring the pot a lot. They stirring and keep stirring and they keep stirring because they on top. We gotta let them work. But now they gonna come on the stream. They gonna do some yapping, and I want to see how they back up their points, because let's trust me, they got some defending they're gonna have to do.
Exactly. But of course, one more time again before we start the show, happy birthday, Bates. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to know you for.
Wait, you just call yourself the GOAT? Or...
the script, the I don't know. First Touch did. Thank y'all. Appreciate that. Happy birthday to the GOAT. That's me.
That's right. Appreciate you being able to talk to you for all these years. Definitely means a lot to me. Be able to see you grow, not just in number, but in mind, body, and spirit. Much love, brother. Much love. So hope you enjoy today. Hope you enjoy today for sure.
Thank you, man. We already went to an escape room. Got out the escape room, come on now. That was gonna be guaranteed. There's no way I'm not escaping out of an escape room. It was a little bit janky though. I ain't gonna lie. We had this one part we figured out and underneath the minute, and then it was broken for about 10 minutes. So they took 10 minutes off our time. Then on top of that, then we started off 10 minutes late. But don't worry, the big giga brain, we were gonna get through it no matter what. All we need is about 40. All we need is about 40 minutes to crack the code.
They were sprinting that.
Right.
Hey, listen.
What does this piece do? Oh no!
It's just like, go over there, get that.
Also, yeah, and then we had this map part, and then one of the locations just wasn't on there. And then I asked the game master after, I said, "So where's this city?" And he said, "It's supposed to be." And he looked at the map. And he said, "It ain't there." I said, "Good." That was another like 8 minutes I wasted trying to find a city that didn't exist.
Oh gosh.
No, we still made out anyways.
There you go. Made it out. Came out with a W there, but of course over the weekend we also had another W. G2, 2 for 2 this week, back-to-back NA qualifier wins for G2. NA teams have not gone back-to-back since phase of last season. So of course, G2 here to stay. Let's take a look at the Swiss results, of course. And I'm saying of course a lot. I gotta stop that, but let's just see G2's run as well as others. You have that Swiss bracket, and a little bit different here this time. Teams like Rebellion not being able to make it. Then you have a team like OG who started off 0-2, thought it was going to be a little bit of a repeat, and ended up making top 8. I think these are going to be things that we talk about a little bit more later on. But it is kind of good to see OG, Pirates on a Boat, another top 8 from them. NRG actually making it to top 8 from the 2-1 round matches where Gen G and SSG qualified. The Swiss Merchants and M80 did just that, and Luminosity making a top 8. But Luminosity's run didn't stop there either. Can we transfer over to the bracket, please? The top 8 bracket. There we go. There we go.
You ain't got no patience. Yeah,
I said it really slowly, so I felt like he would know. But it's okay. You're right. No patience. I'll have more patience.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, but of course, there's a top 8 bracket. G2 and Pirates on a boat. That was a 4-0. Gen G beat Space Station again. OG taking down M80 to make top 4, and NRG losing to Luminosity after beating them in the Swiss round. A 4-0 win for LG. They kept it going all the way to the finals, where they ran into the wall that is G2 Stride. As we get ready for a chance of highlights, I mean, how are we feeling about this performance, this qualifier? Raul, let's start with you.
I think it was kind of what we're used to, what we're going to be familiar with going for the rest of the season. Until teams start to figure out this G2 roster, they look extremely dominant against everybody that they play against. It's only a matter of time until they start getting that pressure on you, and then you start to fold under that pressure. You start to crack. Like this Gen G roster, I expect them to be a little bit better moving into the season as soon as they start to get familiar with each other, maybe. But this G2 roster is kind of dominant right now. I'm super surprised by OG. Love to see them come back. I want to see them moving forward and keep improving as a squad. But yeah, I don't know, bro. Like I just expect to see this G2 roster win all 3, like I said last week.
Definitely on track. I mean, take a look at the highlights against Gen G. Again, a lot of people were looking forward to the matchup. It delivered better than the grand finals, but it wasn't good enough. I mean, G2 was just all over them, and kind of feels like they've got their number for sure. Even that, like, goal line save. I remember I watched that. I think I almost fell over. I said, no, how is that not in the net?
It's like, even when they have like some pressure, it just seems like Gen G can't score. It's this G2 defense. The 3 players on G2 are just so individually mechanical, so individually talented, that when they do have these defensive hiccups, somebody's flying in from across the field to make a miraculous save. You've seen Atomic do it a couple of times. He also was super inconsistent this series, or in the finals at least. He was making the most mistakes, but even his mistakes weren't enough to take him down.
It's called just being too good. That's all it comes down to, man. They're just better.
Good.
They're just better. Tomorrow, actually, I got a question, man. What's up with the Gen G Mobile 1 Gaming Racing?
What do you mean?
What's up with the Gen G Mobile 1 Gaming Racing?
Okay, you're saying it wrong for one. It's Gen G Mobile Racing. You don't need to add the game, and I don't know where the game it comes from. Maybe that's just like an esports term, but it's just Gen G Mobile 1 Racing. You're trying to figure out what's up with the team?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just, I don't know. To be honest, I can assume some people are going around saying that, there might be a mental block right now against G2. Feels like once they understand that this is a team that has beaten them, they kind of struggle in order to get a win. If you compare it to also with the M80, with the results against M80, it makes sense. But I feel like they understand that maybe they have to change the play style or something. Because the way it's looking is like what they're doing right now isn't working. Or you're seeing signs of it being effective, but G2's defense is just so strong. You have to be able to outplay that. And I don't think they really have the game plan for that right now, in all honesty.
I think we talked about this actually like 2 days ago when we were in the Discord, Daz, or yesterday? No, 2 days ago. And I mentioned that it looks like, to me, in my eyes, Gen G is trying to mimic exactly what G2 is doing, but they're not going to play, or they're not going to be able to win that way. Like their gameplay is super solo oriented, or they're trying to out mechanic and out flash this G2 roster. And you have to play like LG or Dignitas plays against G2 if you want a chance at them, which is play dirty. You have to get in their face. You have to steal their boost. You have to demo them, get them out of the game, get their cars out of the game, make them play a 2v3 scenario. But they're just not doing that right now. So
yeah, I think also the struggle does come from finishing as well, because there have been opportunities in that last series that they played where Gen G had clear shots, but whoever's taking those shots is just missing. I mean, like in the post or in the crossbar. I think like finishing is definitely something that they needed to work on in that aspect too. But that is not to take away what G2 are doing right now. I have to give them all my respect, because the way they are dominating North America is worth the conversation. Clearly, everybody's talking about it. How good is this G2? We'll have some experts on the side here later on today. But I mean, for me, this is the strongest I think I've seen G2 look. Now, of course, we're going to pose the question, which G2 was better, G2 in 21-22 or G2 today? And I'll go first. There's a part I think it's early to tell, but a part of me wants to go with G2 today. I think this squad has all the pieces together in the puzzle. Of course, G2 and 21-22 have more results. They have an entire season of results. We only have the beginning of this one, but they're showing the exact same signs that G2 and 21-22 shown. They just got to keep it moving. But what do you guys think?
You want to go first, Bates?
Oh, which one's better between the two? It's just a question because it's hard to answer. Because if you're talking, let's set the table. We're talking relative to the time. So relative to their time period. So G2 at that moment, 21-22. G2 now at this moment, 2024. Because I think everybody should say, of course this G2 is way better. Because you got Daniel Beast Mode and Atomic, the mechanical brilliance, the speed, the fluidity. They got arguably the 3 best players in North America at the moment. Always guaranteed gonna be 3 of the top 5 in the game in North America. But so let's set that. It's relative to the time. And it's a tough question, though. It's a tough question. I think it's the same. It's really close. That G2, and honestly, I don't know. I had more confidence in that G2 winning Worlds at that moment, but that's because there was less teams, and there was less teams that are that great. Because now in France, you got at least 2. You got at least 2 and Carmine and Vitality. Back then, you had Moist and BDS, but I just felt like G2 was better than both of them. I know BDS ended up winning, so BDS they end up being the best team. But I felt like G2 was better than both of them. I can still feel like G2 is better than Vitality and Carmine at the moment, but I haven't seen them internationally. So I think that's the main difference. So maybe we should save this question until after the major. If they won the major, like that squad did, JNF Chicago and Atomic did back in LA, then maybe that's a better gauge, because I think the reason I felt that they were better than the rest of the world is because they won the major. I haven't seen them play against the best. I haven't seen them play against them dogs. I'll tell you this though, in terms of compared to NA, this G2 is completely clear. I don't think it's close at the moment. I don't think it's close. I think you can make an argument back in the day, like FaZe, it ultimately ended up being that G2 squad and Spring Regional 3 to stop the three-peat from happening. I mean, you had a couple good, like SSG was really good back then. It was SSG, FaZe, G2, and there's a fourth one. There was a fourth. NRG was still
V1
around.
was up there.
Who?
V1 was up there too.
Yeah, V1 was up there. Yeah, so it was like 4 really great teams in NA at that moment. So I guess that also makes it, but G2 was better, but they weren't that much better than all of them. Right. But this G2 right here is miles ahead of everybody. Now, is that because NA is just they were working through some things, or is it just because G2's that great? I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I'm taking this one. I think this G2 roster has the potential, and we're speaking relatively, right? So back in 21-22, I think North America had way more teams than they do this season, but I still think, in my belief, this G2 roster can compete with the best in the world. I know that's an unpopular opinion right now, but if you're watching what we're seeing over here in North America, then you should use your eyeballs and clearly have some justification that they can compete with the top talent in the world. I think there's some people that have MENA above this G2 roster, like both MENA teams, which is actually.
Well, let me just interject in your diatribe. It's not that that G2 can't compete. I'm just saving you. I know the boy John. I know the boy John. Okay. He's gonna come on and he's gonna correct you immediately. It's not that people can't compete. It's just that he doesn't believe that they're better. That's the question.
And I think better, so that they won't win against.
Yeah, I think that's how I interpret that. But he'll be able to defend himself.
Okay, well they can win against MENA. Like this team is, in my opinion, better than Falcons. And I think that they'll show that as long as they keep this consistency up, they will show that when it comes to major time. So relatively speaking, I will take this roster. I think this is an upgraded FaZe, and they're looking more consistent, more composed, and the chemistry is looking better than FaZe did at the start, and it's only going to grow, in my opinion. Daniel's kind of shut me up as a critic. He's looking great, so I can't really say nothing bad about Daniel. He's won back to back, and moving forward, if we see it in the major,
He sure
it's
has
only
won
going to
back to
improve.
back. That's right. And also, Daniel, in the last 4 regional/qualifiers, he got, of an A. They won in V1 for Spring Regional 2. Then they got bounced in went through 8th or top 8 or outside the 8th or something like that. I don't remember the exact placement.
Mhm.
It wasn't great. That's all I know. That's why they ended up missing the major and ultimately the Worlds. Then coming back, that man's won 3 of the last 4. Hitman Beast.
Mhm.
3
It's
of the last
impressive, man.
4 regional/NA qualifiers. They've won 3 of them. Won the last 2.
And that was my biggest critic on him, man. He just wasn't winning. Now he's doing nothing but winning. And people are gonna say it's because and they struggling right now at the top, but I don't
Maybe
know.
they, like I said, maybe they really are just that much better. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when they go up against the best of the best in the world. Cause trust me, I know they watch. I know they're hungry. I know they want to play against them. That actually brings up an interesting like subtopic. Though it's just how NA, like whether NA was that much better back then relatively, or if they're just really that much better than the rest of NA at the moment. I mean, that just Gen G squad, you would think they would be really good. I think the LG squad is really solid. SSG is good, but then I guess you go back to 21, 22. You had V1. That was Beast Mode Tommy, Beast Mode
Yep.
Torment. I guess relatively that would be better than like SSG right now. Would it? Yeah, I guess relatively scheme wise. I don't know. It's close. It's close. So it's hard to gauge. I think the fact that G2 just has all the best players, it's just really wide in that gap.
Yeah, definitely can understand that frame of thought here as well. You know, I think, but I feel like it would be super clear if we didn't have Luminosity play against them so well. But then again, they did have that win in the finals, which is very dominant. They've been playing them really close right now, and a lot of people are trying to figure out where to put LG because I've seen a lot of people have
no, fun fact.
What?
G2 is the only undefeated team left out of NA or EU.
They haven't lost anything.
They haven't lost.
Oh boy. Here we go. Okay.
We ain't even see the blue wall yet. The blue wall, they ended up losing one to sub. We'll get into that later. Blue wall ended up losing sub, had the backs against the wall. I know Rise don't want to be in that position. I know Vati don't want to be there either. But listen, they made it through. But they ain't the 1 seed no more.
Very true. They are not going to be the 1 seed. Like you said, we'll get into EU a little bit later. Let's bring in the NA Blue with Retals on Luminosity. Luminosity Retals joining the show. Slater!
The Mark.
It's
good to be here. It's good to be here. I'm excited. It's been a while. It really has been.
Oh my gosh.
Why is your camera so much better than mine?
It's so clean.
That's what I'm saying.
What camera is this?
Little Sony A7 IV. I'm here.
You
I've got
upgrade
some.
to the
nice-
7 series.
I
have to upgrade.
Come on.
Then, okay.
Right?
That's what the 7 series end up. This man said 4K.
I get a top 2 finally, and you know what I mean. It's all out the window with a new camera. It's not great. It's not great.
That's crazy. That boy looking slick. That boy looking clean. What up, my boy?
I'm chilling. I always here to defend NA, talk bad about EU. That's what my job, T-Bates. We get paid for the same thing. So
that's right.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Okay, well, first of all, congratulations for making the grand finals. This is your first grand final since RLCS 21-22. So, of course, big ups to you on that. Let's take a look at some of the clips here as well. We can talk about it. We got your clips between you guys and G2 here. We're going to see exactly what kind of stuff you've been doing. But, I mean, how does it feel finally being back in a grand finals, being as competitive as you've been in a while now?
It feels good. I've talked about it on a few interviews, but this is a team that, for the first time in a while, I feel comfortable winning events. And, that's always, it's not a fun feeling going into an event saying every single star on the planet would have to align for us to win this event. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. And with this team, with the upside of Cheese, with the pickup of Cheese, I feel very good. I feel very, very, very good.
Yeah, Cheese is definitely, I mean, in the off season, he was one of my favorite players to like watch or listen to. We were doing the 60-man stuff, got to hear his comms, and I may have had like an opinion on Cheese, not really too solid or definitive, but just like being able to see how involved he is, just even in a 6-man environment, I think really woke me up. And that used to be like a little thing that we would talk about on our streams.
Nah.
Like, wow.
I gotta ask my boy though. Why didn't we challenge that ball right there?
I thought
Oh,
I was
boy.
closer to it, and I thought I could fake beast mode off of it for MB. Honestly, hindsight looks terrible, but that was the thought process. I saw Jorby's tweet about it. I was like, oh man, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh man, I felt like y'all played him in that game. I felt like y'all played him in game 2.
We did it the first time we played him in a best 7-2. We had game 2 until 2 seconds left, and we get scored on. It was just small things to figure out.
I want you to talk to the world about playing this G2 squad though. I mean, you're on a team, you're comfortable, you out there chasing, bumping, slapping people around, asserting your physical Rocket League card presence on the field. Like how's it feel playing against this new squad?
I think that my take on it will surprise a few people, but this is the best team I've played in a while. Obviously we're in Boston, so we scrimmed all the old EU teams. I've played everyone from last season. Obviously I haven't seen, the new French ones, but I think the best way to break it down is we consolidated 6 of our 7 best players, and one of the teams isn't performing. So G2 kind of looks like the Avengers. Am I saying they're the best team ever formed? No. Am I saying they're 3 of NA's best? Absolutely, and you can see it. I mean, they look unreal.
Is that it, Professional Bates? Can I continue?
I mean, I wasn't in interview mode. I'm just listening. I told you I'm kicked off feet today. I'm kicked off feet today, man.
Happy birthday,
Okay.
Bates. Happy birthday.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, man. Hey, that's crazy because that means I met you a long time ago. I met all y'all a long time ago then.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
How old are you now, Slater? You 21?
21.
Oh, Lord, no. Oh,
It's been a
no.
while. It's been a while.
Oh,
Me and
no.
Raul teamed when I was like 14.
Ooh.
Bro, that was a long time ago.
Ooh-wee. That's too long, actually. That's crazy. Rocket League's been around that long. That's wild.
That is wild. I want to ask you about your team though, while we have you here. Just a couple questions. One, I wanted to know for you personally, being able to beat that grand final, like what did that mean to you?
I mean, everything. It's something that there was a long off season, which meant a lot of thinking, especially for someone that's played professionally for a long time. And it was a lot of, can we still do this? Can I still do this personally? And it was to the point where, a lot of self-doubt, 7-month break, it leads to a lot of, internal thinking, but it's everything, man. This is a team that I'm super comfortable with. 2 players, 2 people that, I want to win with. I mean, it's 2 of my best friends now. So, this result couldn't have come at a better time, especially with how the last few years have been, but I feel good. I feel really good.
That's good. Is that same way echo to like Magic and Cheese? Like, what does it feel like for them?
I mean, both their first grand finals. I think, hopefully we get a comms video or something for that, because Cheese, I've never heard someone more loud. I mean, he loves it, dude. He lives and breathes Rocket League. This is, we always talk about Vatira. We always talk about how much he wants to win, and just because Cheese isn't tweeting out and shooting like anime blue fireballs out of his hands with gifts and tweeting out that he's going to win for his village. Guys, I've never seen someone want to win more than Cheese. I promise there is no one on the planet that wants to win more than this guy. I will put my entire life on it.
Oh, man, that's a big one.
I can't lie. It kind of shows in his gameplay. Like, he's looking incredible. But like, I know that a lot of people in the scene are now comparing you. Well, me personally, I do this as well, but I compare you to kind of like a Garrett, where you're like somebody who will guide younger players in order to become successful. You see, but you have this huge pickup in Cheese, who is looking like one of the top prospects, seemingly out of nowhere. Like, you saw the potential in him on his previous team, but like now he's seeming to flourish under a team where you're able to enable him. You're becoming like one of the greatest enablers in the game. So tell me about the pickup from Cheese. Like, what in your eyes in the offseason was like, yo, I'm picking up Cheese, like this is the guy?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I won't take a ton of credit. for his development. Our coaches Greg and Kev have done a majority of that, and I do think we are the best coach team on the planet. I think we have the best support out of anyone. But going to his pickup, we tried a lot of players this offseason. I've talked about it a lot on stream and publicly, so I don't mind saying it here. You know, a lot of older pros like Jane App, Chicago, Com, Justin, and Cheese was the only person we had tried out that wasn't really um he just wasn't really experienced. He had the Koi results, obviously. It wasn't out of nowhere. You know, he had some
Mhm.
top eights. But it's a player that I've always talked up, even, you know, when I was on Optic and had a full roster. It was someone that I've always respected his energy. It's a spark plug. He's literally a light bulb. There is not a dull day with that kid. And it's something that we lacked heavily with Optic. We needed something like that. And so when we had the chance to pick him up and I saw how well he was performing with us, it was instant. We knew who it was.
Our last thing, can you do me a favor?
Yep.
Can you tell Magic Bear to shave what he got going on?
Hey, let him rock. He's trying to grow it out. Let him rock. He's trying to grow it out. He's trying to look good.
I want you to talk about your boy Greg and Kev, especially my boy Greg. I mean, that man,
I love Greg.
he be working. He be
Yeah.
working, and also he also be defending NA. He's like the spark plug. You know what he is. You know how much of a
Yeah.
defender he is in NA. I think he was on a hoodie who stream earlier. Shout out hoodie. Talk about NA. Talk about what he does. So just let the people know about Raw Greg. I don't think people really know it. They don't really like respect what that man be doing to the degree that they should.
That's my boy. You know, that's one of my best friends. Picked him up with Optic. It's been a long time coming for, you know, the success for both him and Kev. And it's a team that, and I've said it a million times and I can't say it enough. It is really a team where I'm comfortable in everything. You know, I'm comfortable saying what's on my mind. I'm comfortable asking for help. I'm comfortable yelling at my teammates if they're doing something wrong. I'm comfortable if my teammates are yelling at me for doing something wrong. It's, you know, 100% transparency with this squad, which I think speaks to our gameplay, which, you know, can be a little scrappy at times, but you see how organized it is. It is organized chaos, and that's, you know, 100% with help of the coaching staff.
Shout out Greg.
Solid. Shout
That's
out
my
Greg.
boy.
Shout out Greg. Shout out Luminosity. Congrats on again the grand finals once again. Now let's kind of talk about the rest of NA. We're gonna open this up a little bit more into the rest of the major. Can we take a look at NA standings, please? Because it's getting a little shaky compared to, you know, you got the top three, G2 at 32 points. They've already secured Copenhagen. Gen G Mobile 1 at 21, Luminosity at 18. And then once you get to where Dignitas is, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with all within 1 point of each other, 8, 9 if you count TSM deleted. And then there's a big lower drop off. There's so many chances if chaos happens in the last event for teams to take those spots. I mean, it doesn't really feel like too many people are safe here. Even after the grand finals with LG, you guys still have to make sure you guys show up. So the question is, who are we all most confident in making the major?
That is so close.
It is unbelievably close. Guys, we are not even close to clinch. I will not talk about Copenhagen. I will not talk about playing European teams today. My coaches will yell at me. We are still in the major race with everyone else.
The PR answer.
To talk on, you know, who I think, other than us, of course. I'm a huge fan of not many teams this season. I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I think, like I said, G2 Gen G, 6 of the best 7 minus LJ. You can put them wherever you want. I don't care to rank them. I think Gen G needs to figure it out. I think with the level of talent on that team, there's no reason why they should be getting slammed by G2 over and over and over again or lose to M80. That Gen G team is way too good. The players are way too good. Before the season started, I had them as the first seed going in. It makes no sense to me. I can't comprehend it, why they're not better. And as well, I think the same with Space Station. Not to the same level, of course, but I think LJ's having a little bit of an off split, whether that be his fault or, you know, the team's fault or his teammates' fault, whatever it is. I think SSG could be a little bit better. Granted, they have only lost to G2 Gen G, which you can go into that talk, but you can also talk about how in the first round, they are going game 5 with Akron, and they are losing. They're getting bad game differential and forcing themselves into harder matchups. They had us in the round 2 of the Swiss, beat us in 5. Their game differential keeps, you know, falling because of it. And, I think they're putting themselves in tough spots, but they are getting Gen G in the 4-5 match, 2 regionals in a row, which is not, it shouldn't be happening. It is unlucky, but I think they have themselves to blame for a little bit of it.
Those are the
I agree.
squads. Those are the squads, man. Go ahead, the Bezos. I know you want to say something.
I mean, not like I'm with him on that. I agree with the Gen G statement. I agree with the SSG. I would have also used their results there on that. I think M80 was a big question until last event because again, the whole Swiss merchants, you come out and you have OG, a matchup you probably should win, but then you end up losing
It's
that.
a
so
nightmare
now-
matchup. That's a nightmare matchup for M80 systematically. I promise. This
OG
team,
versus
like,
M80.
it is a nightmare matchup.
Talk to the
I
people
don't-
about that.
It's just OG is probably the team that plays the most similar to us. You play with like the close off ball, the bumps, the boost stars, whatever it is. Watch the VOD if you want, but it's just that M80 team struggles with adversity, and with adversity I mean when Calm is in your corners behind you the entire game, or they're leaving the ball for each other, they're air bumping for each other. That is where
Yep.
M80 struggles, and that OG team, everyone knew. The whole LG team knew. I was the only one that was somewhat backing M80 when we saw the matchup, but everyone was like, "There's no chance they win that."
Hey, no chance. It's crazy.
It is what it is.
I'm just saying, no chance is crazy, but it's valid. It's valid. It's valid. I mean, even Bates had predicted OG was winning that. He predicted down to the score line. He said 4-2 was a 4-2. So understand. You did when you came on my stream after, and I think
That's good. Look at me.
Friday.
Look
Like,
at me.
doesn't
big.
even remember.
Listen, I'll
They just be
so-
talking.
Yeah, he'd be talking. Then OG's gonna win that 4-2. I feel like for me, it's between LG, Dignitas, and SSG.
No OG.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, man. Because again, it's like they start both Swisses going 0-2.
Then it went 9-0.
Right.
Hey,
Then they went
that's
9-0. But then
Backs
they ran
against the
into
wall. They had to make that.
right. But then they ran into LG. So now you have 3 teams for me that OG have to avoid: G2, Gen G, and LG. They would have to have everything pretty much go their way in the Swiss, and I just don't feel like it's gonna go their way. So that's where I'm a little. That's where my question is. I mean, it's possible for sure, but I just feel like it's less likely than the other 3.
So
What are
wait, who do you
feeling,
have?
Bates?
All 4 making it? My 4 teams making it?
Yeah.
G2 and Gen G, I think they got too many points. But I don't know what the clinch points is, but I'm assuming if Gen G gets top 8, they have to be clinched, like surely.
Yeah.
Maybe not guaranteed clinch, but mathematically the odds have to be ridiculously low for them not to be. So they're practically. Both of them. I think Luminosity is top 3 team in North America at the moment. So I gotta go LG. Don't want to put that pressure on you there, bro. But listen, I mean, pressure-based price. You've been there before. You know what it takes to win lands. You know what it takes to make lands. So got y'all
Yes, sir.
top 3. I believe in Greg. I believe in the system. The 4th spot, the 4th spot. I mean, I picked OG initially to make the land. I really like the style. I like their style. I like their style, how they play. I like when they're on because they bring out that creativity. They have that kind of bump aggression style with Calm, like Slater was talking about, but then they also have that ingenuity. There's a lot of pre-jumps and a lot of just chemistry they were doing with one another. Now, granted, can they replicate that? Can they duplicate that? I don't know how much they in scrims are going for that stuff. So that might have been a synergy thing on that day. They play like that and they move that ball around, let Noli run like that point guard spot where you're trying to hit J-Naps, trying to hit Calm. I mean, I think they're really tough to beat. And I think right now, if I'm looking at form, SSG would be the team that I would pick to make it. But like Slater said, LJ ain't been LJ. And that could be a variety of things, but he hasn't been the guy that you saw at the RLCS World Championship to close out RLCS 22-23. That's not the same person, even though it's the same skill set. He's just not being maximized to the best of his ability with Chicago and Hoxer right now. So you take that into account. Dig, I'm here. They ain't scrimming, doing all this nonsense or being goofy, not putting it work. I gotta talk to my boy T Chakra. Oh, you should be talking to him. Cause if I see one more tweet about Europe just being that much better, I'm gonna ship him over to France, ship him over to France and let him play in Europe. I'm gonna get him a whole visa and everything. You can stay there until you learn that you need to come back over to America. So with that in mind, I think I like OG. I like OG. ideally, I would expect them to at least perform early on. Have a good game differential, get a good round 3, round 4 in the Swiss, and then hopefully you avoid G2 in the first round if you do that. So or Gen G if Gen G might figure it out at that point too. So
True.
Wait, Dig ain't scrimming?
I didn't. Yeah, where you
I
get
mean,
that from?
they scrimming, but I've been here.
Wait, hold on. Why Reynolds turn his head like that? Yo, what's going on?
Oh, interesting.
Nah, I mean,
Interesting.
I've been hearing rumors. Well, my sources. I got many sources, got many ears, got many eyes.
Listen, I believe you. If you say you got your sources, I believe you. Like,
Why is my
just-
top 4 always
I
troll
believe you
me,
too,
bro?
Bates. I believe you too.
Shut
Thank you,
up,
sir.
My top 4 always trolls me, bro. Yo, can I get like a bypass for like my predictions? Like I had Dignitas, but like they're trolling me. So if the rumors are correct, I should be able to switch a team.
Bro,
Oh,
go
shit.
walk in Arsenal's room and ask them, bro. Like, figure it out.
Yeah, get
No.
on the can, bro.
Just go talk to
put him in
T-Shock
your
and
chair.
tell
Put
him
him in
not
the
to
hot
tweet out
seat.
another time that like what happened to NA's toughness, man? That's what I'm saying, bro. T-Shock wouldn't tweet that out 2 years ago. He said, I'm ready for that smoke. And then now he's saying, oh, well, only one team can compete. I don't want to hear that nonsense. You need to go talk to your boy, get his mental right, and I think they can toss. Because if I had to rank them, I would
Bro,
put
but
OG1. Wait.
What, Slater?
Oh, no,
bro,
no,
it's
no.
like what? No, man. I just don't get it, bro. Arsenal's my boy. Arsenal's my boy.
Flip the topic, man.
And I will say, so I'm gonna preface this with I've lost to that Dignitas teams 4 times in the last 2 months.
Okay.
Every single time, it was only because of Arsenal. He has played unreal Rocket League until this regional. And to be fair, I didn't watch this regional. So I'm talking about like the week leading up. If you played great in the regional, I didn't see it. So I actually can't make that statement. But it's just
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid.
stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
You're going 1-3 in the Swiss. Lock in, man. I just don't get it. I love the man. I love the dude. I think he's an unreal player, but it's like, I don't get it, man. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, they gotta lock it down. They
My
gotta
boy
lock it
T-Shot
down.
locked in, man. T-Shot locked in. I do think, like I said, I'll go OG1. And I based off of Dig's form going into the season with the off season, and then also what they did in the first qualifier, I put them 2 on my 2 teams. Like I had to pick out of 2 teams. They'd be OG Dig. But I need Dig to lock in. I need T-Shot locked. I need Evo locked. I need Gyro locked because they're a really good squad, man. And they got potential and they could do it. Hey, come on now, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I hear y'all. I do think SSG out of those are the more consistent though.
Agreed.
That's why I feel like SSG probably sneak in and take that spot. Because they're not going through, like, again, their only losses are the top 2. Ooh,
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna
sneak
stop my
in and
mouse.
get another 7 seed and play G2 first round.
Alright.
See, yeah, they're more consistent with struggling through the Swiss.
Okay. All right. I do have one more question before we jump into something else. Rattles, this is for you. Event 1, we saw a lot of nerves play into the event, first time after a long time. Do you think people are going to be more nervous in this one considering the majors on the line?
Ooh, Regional 3 is always the worst. If you want to watch the worst possible RLCS gameplay, it is always Regional 3. We always joke about it. We played Shopify last Regional 3 when we reverse swept Roldas, and we played them round 1, and that was Champ 3 gameplay. It was Champ 3 gameplay. It was terrible. It's always.
Why you say you reverse swept me, bro? I wasn't on the field. Get on my back, bro.
It's, you got to think, right? Because these are huge contracts, players playing for, dreams basically, and it's a few 5-minute games. It's nerve-wracking, man. I've had some intense Regional 3 games. It is by far worse than Regional 1 if we go nerves by far.
Okay. All right. Well, that means everybody else keep it locked in for that. Now, of course, around the world, people are already talking about results. People were tweeting all up and down last weekend, including Stumpy. So let's take a look at that Stumpy tweet. Let's get that one involved. What does it say? Aside from Cheese, who's having the I remember this, who's having the series of his life, the quality of NRG versus LG is questionable. Multiple players on both teams at 0 boost repeatedly, complete whiffs at crucial moments, team bumps galore, a dented crossbar, 0 intention with the ball past the first hit, and open nets being missed. I back the day to get better as we go on, but it's not exactly rip roaring start to Saturday. Cringe face emoji. All right, what are our thoughts? Should I go first? I'll go first.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, I feel like some of this stuff that he's bringing up in the tweet there specifically might just be him not understanding some of the play style that goes on with some teams. Obviously, no team is expecting a whiff on the net, but not like, of course, there's gonna. Well, he said team bumps. I get the team bumps. I get the not finishing, but the whole zero intention with the ball pass or first hit, I think that really is kind of subjective, depending on what's going on. And if there's people on like zero boost, I think that just goes to show you like what is being focused on, prioritized in the game. Besides that, we're not going again. And he clarified this on Twitter, and he said, I'm not comparing regions, so to speak, because if he was, I was gonna say that EU Saturday was worse. It was
I was asleep.
Like, you didn't even stream. I streamed, and I didn't even want to be there. But in terms of like how he feels about the gameplay, I mean, I don't know if it was that bad. Rose, was it that bad from your perspective?
It's just EU Yap, man. We don't even have to answer the question, bro.
And Stumpy. I got it.
He's looking at the camera. He's looking at the camera.
I will say, I don't get it because it was one of those, like he said that for the NRG series, and then we played OG, and the gameplay was much worse, and then he tried to say that the OG gameplay was better. So to me, it feels like a box score watcher. It feels like you didn't really watch the games, which, you know, you can't watch every series. I don't watch every European series. I try not to talk about every European series. So what I will say is that NRG performance was terrible. Our performance against NRG was great. We played amazing Rocket League. Did NRG play terrible and probably made the entire series look worse? Yeah, absolutely. But that OG series, if you go back, that thing was ugly. That was an ugly series.
Well, if you're saying that just one team was terrible, that was literally all of EU. So yeah, I would back Damar's kind of statement on that. Just like because it was just one-sided all Saturday.
I just let people realize how much more biased everybody else is.
But there's ugly series in every region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what did I watch? I watched Moist Resolve in the open qualifiers. I watched KC Sa. Both of those series, I was actually mind blown at the goals going in. Mind blown.
And that's the number one
that's
team.
Not to say, oh my God, these goals are going in. They would never go in NA. Yes, they would. They go in every region. It's just with the pace that people play at nowadays and the amount of bumps and boost deals and off-ball pressure that teams apply, it just looks like that. There are just series. There are teams that make other teams look awful. Yeah. And it has always been anytime a Retals-led team gets a win, a good win, it's, oh, wow, they didn't look that way yesterday. If we had, I mean, you see the way M80 plays OG, M80 in the Swiss, slamming, they play OG, a team that applies a lot of off-ball pressure. Oh my God, they look terrible. They looked awful. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, guys, watch the games. Like, stop just watching the goals. I'm promise. These are just people that have watched the goals. They say, "Oh, a goal went in. Let me watch the replay." Watch the entire game, please. God.
He said something he's been passionate about, man.
He's starting to get ready. I think he's warmed up. I think it's time. I think it's time tomorrow.
All right. Well, we won't sit on this one for too long. Let's bring in the two J's. Jorby and Johnny Boy are joining the show. Gentlemen, first and foremost, welcome. It's good to see you guys.
Yo, what's up? How you guys doing? Great to be on the channel with y'all again. Another first touch. And you know, you put me in between. You guys put me in the craziest lobby, okay? Johnny to my right, Reynolds to my left. This is gonna be crazy.
Jorby, man, how you been, bro?
We're surviving, Bates. We're surviving out here, you know?
Talk to me.
Lots of stuff going on my end. So, you know, happy that you guys brought me back on. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, you already know that, bro.
Happy
You
to
know we
have
gotta
you,
take care of you, man. Come on now. It's all love out here, all family. All family, you know. Your mic sounds beautiful. If those y'all who are watching at home, I don't know how Jorby's pulled off his mic thing, but I'm gonna figure it out. Because that mic he's got the same one as five of us in here. But it sounds way better.
It only took 4 years to figure it out. So.
And then, oh my gosh. That's love, Jordan. And then you got that guy all the way on the end below me. The parallel contrast. NA versus EU right there. There it is. Look at him. JB, what up with you, baby?
Oh, it's good to be back. Thanks for the invite. First of all, hope you're all having a great day. But yeah, I mean, we've got to stop this EU versus NA talk. It's really a rivalry if it's this one-sided.
He's already here, bro. Oh, God, here we go.
He walked in on business.
Listen,
I respect that. I respect
listen,
that.
I might be a bystander here. I'm just gonna let it cook. Where my
Yeah,
popcorn?
let's just lay back, bro.
All right. Well, I'll set the scene. Let's take a look at the tweets. Right. Let's start with the Johnny initial top 10 list. We'll go there first. RLCS World after one event, he had K Corp, Vitality, Gentlemates at 3, BDS at 4, Falcons at 5, G2 at 6, Genji at 7, Complexity at 8, Furia at 9, and Rule 1 at 10. Now let's go to Reddle's tweet here. We need to bring that one up. This one was definitely recent. By the way, if you think that there are 4 European teams better than that G2 roster, you should never talk about Rocket League
That looks
again.
a little personal when you put them side to side, huh?
Let's take a look at Johnny's most recent top 10 list, please.
That was tweeted just like, listen, you got probably it was tweeted not that long after Slater's tweet, maybe about 4 or 5 hours or so.
Not too much movement in my power
Yeah.
rankings after this weekend. Let's see the difference here. So top 5's the same. G2's at 6. Fury and Complexity have moved over Genji. And Rule 1 is at 10th there still. So that begs the question, is G2 a top 4 team in the world? Where do we start here?
Your world, bro.
It's okay. Yeah, you're right. It's my world. All right, Johnny, why G2 at 6?
We got to see a little bit more movement before we could put G2 higher than this. You know, I think you can make a case for 5 and 6 being swapped. I'm taking Falcons. I really think they look fantastic right now. You know, I reckon that team, you know, being able to play against European teams and European players in the regular, that's a big advantage. So I'm just giving them the edge. But they're the closest teams. There's, I think, 5 and 6 have established themselves, at least in my opinion. That's G2 and Falcons. I think they've established themselves as a pretty clear 5 and 6. Whereas in my first list, I think it was a lot closer with 5 through 9, 5 through 10, maybe 5 through 8, that kind of thing. Now they've cemented themselves, but I can't move them up because you've got EU clear top 4 at the end of last season, and then we took 10 of those players who made top 4 at Worlds. We shuffled the teams around a bit, but it's the same 10 players plus Juicy, who's never looked better. Exotic's now mechanical. Drally is probably the hottest prospect of the entire year when it comes to debut players, and they all look really, really good against each other. Now, last time we saw an EU online split that looked this good, they dominated the major, they dominated Worlds. So, I mean, it's the same again, and I'm not moving any of those teams down until they look like they've actually fallen off against their direct competition. We don't know how they're going to do against international competition, but we know how they're doing against each other. They're all very, very close. So that's why I got them top 4 for now. They can move down if somebody misses playoffs this weekend, though. It's not. They're not set top 4 no matter what. It's based on their own results, in my opinion.
Reynolds, why do you disagree?
Well, first, I'm going to stop you on that Drally take because guys looked great in the offseason. Guy looked great before he joined BDS. That was one of the most dreadful playoff performances I've ever seen from a top player ever. But
playoff,
I will say,
in general, playoff performance.
It was ugly. It wasn't great. It wasn't great for a major region. Yes. But
I think I just want to say I do disagree with that, but do go on.
Okay. What do you think was the biggest thing that changed in between? Let's say I have a list up. Actually, someone tweeted it. In fall of this season, there were 2 NA teams. So there were 2 events. In fall, there were 2 NA teams, 1 EU, 1 SAM in the top 4, and the one after the winter major was 2 EU, 2 NA. What do you think was the biggest thing that changed in between those to then EU's domination?
NA didn't get Mickey brackets at Boston and Worlds. EU didn't eliminate each other at Boston and Worlds. So when EU's not eliminating each other, when Moist aren't eliminating KC in the fall, and then you don't have an EU side of the bracket, Vitality beating Oxygen, Moist, or what is it? No, it's Team Liquid beating Vitality, and then Carmine eliminating Team Liquid. Like when you don't have all the EU teams beating other EU teams, and they actually end up on different sides of the bracket, you get Boston and Worlds last season. All of last season, EU was clear, most likely, based on Boston and Worlds. But it did get better, obviously, when Vitality joined and made themselves #1 by a mile. And,
there wasn't only
BDS
2 NA
picked
teams
up,
in the top 12, like in Boston. Like it was Complexity and
I
Gen
will,
G,
I
which
will
were
never defend Boston. Boston,
Yeah.
I will never defend. Worlds, really, either. But from my POV, from playing in NA in Boston, or playing in NA in spring, playing in NA in winter, playing in NA in every split, I will say, and this is no fault to EU. This is not where I'm going to say, NA is better than EU. That's not what I'm saying at all right now. What I am saying is G2 is a top 3 team in the world, and you will see it in Copenhagen. I think last season got a little skewed because let's look at our teams from last season. You have FaZe. You have Sypical on the brink of retirement. You have Mist putting in less hours than a McDonald's fast food worker. You have, we'll go to V1. You
Hey, they
have
work
a
hard.
team
Whoa, whoa.
where
They work hard.
V1 after when what in that second regional they went 21-2 in games after their first loss or something like that. Unreal performance. Couldn't figure it out under pressure. Regional 1 and Regional 3 they choked. They played terrible. Won't defend them there. Our best players were not on our best teams. You have Space Station that looked great. You had G2 that looked great at the end. Our best players were not performing well. Our best players were not set up to perform well. Now we have G2, where we have 3 of our best players set up in a good system to perform well. G2, behind what I think is KC and Vitality, is the 3rd best team in the world.
But okay, I've got a couple of questions for you. Is this not the exact same thing that happened last season and the season before that and every season? You
With
know,
what
is
team?
2 seasons ago it was NRG. Everybody's saying that they're clear. Then Fall Major
And
happened.
they finished
I
what,
guess they're
second?
not.
They finished
Yeah,
second.
and yeah, they did.
We're not
they
talking
did get
down about a
slapped.
second to BDS, one of the best teams of all time.
They did, you know, they did get slapped. They got slapped by EU in that tournament. So I mean, you can't. You guys actually, I look back in time, in fact. So you know, I saw Retals tweet and I was thinking, man, that seems a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit much. You know, I think you know it's feasible to speculate G2 as a top 3 team in the world, but saying that you are, you know, basically.
You think it's more
clueless
to say
not-
that there are 5 teams in the world, including a Falcons team, that hasn't shown anything against international competition? That's less than saying
Nothing.
that G2 isn't a top 4 team.
What do you mean nothing against international competition? The Twins, top 4 in Boston, TRK,
Okay, and then
rallied
you can go
Falcons
back.
to a
You can go
top
to
8
the
in
Worlds
Worlds.
event right
Where were
after
Daniel-
where they were
where were
getting
Daniel and
slammed
Beast
by
Mode?
Space Station.
Where were Daniel and
Ooh.
Beast Mode? Where were they in this entire time? Boston and Worlds. Where
You
were they?
can't
Oh, that's right.
compare
They couldn't even make top 5 NA. How are
They
how are
were
we talking
on-
about this team?
Let's look at Daniel and Beast Mode spring on. You know, when
Oof.
they actually team with each other, because we're not going to compare players that are on different teams and then say because they couldn't make the event that counts all the points at the end. Look at their second regional. I'm not defending that team in
so you
particular.
want to look at the regional they won and ignore all the losses? Is that what you're saying? Come on.
Again,
what are we
I'm
doing
not
here?
defending that
What are we
team.
doing? What are
I'm
we
defending
doing?
2 of their players.
No, but I've got a couple of questions. I think we are just going to fundamentally disagree on a lot of things here, but I do have some questions. So, Retals, one question to you that I have is why don't you do prediction videos anymore? Because you used to do a lot of them.
I get yelled
but
at
now
by my
you don't.
teammates. I don't want to jinx myself.
I don't know. I seem to remember you did a bunch of prediction videos. You had like 3 out of 4 top 4 in the Fall Major 2021. You had, you know, NA doing pretty well in other prediction videos you did. Now you don't do it. I feel like you just stopped because you're wrong all the time. And I mean, I've predicted all the events you predicted. I actually compared predictions. And if you want my notes on
Wow.
that, if you want to see the comparison, I've out predicted you every time you've predicted an event. Every time. I don't want to like, you know, go through the boring numbers, but I can show you that. I'll post it if you want. If you
He's
want
got a spreadsheet.
if you want to call me out, on
I
that.
respect that.
But every
Wow.
time you've predicted an
You came
international LAN,
prepared.
I've also predicted it and I've done better. So
Oh
you
my
can't
God.
say that someone who doesn't put G2 top 4 doesn't know ball and shouldn't be talking about Rocket League. Like, what are we talking about? I've got a resume of successfully predicting international events, and you don't. So I think you need to maybe, you know, say a little bit less, like this confidently at least.
Okay. I
I would
I
say-
respect the research that was done. I really do. I do respect
I
that.
just say, finally, I don't want to, you know, talk too much on this, but I think it's more ridiculous to call G2 an undeniable top 4 team than it is to say that they are outside of the top 4. I think you can speculate either way, but it is speculation to put G2 in the top 4 right now. There's
What I will
evidence to
say-
suggest the EU top
What
4
I will
is the best
say
4.
is it is your job to analyze, and I do respect that. I respect if you can predict tournaments better than I can, I will always respect that. It is my job to compete, and I've played against every team in the world, you know, minus some COVID era teams, for the last 5 years. This G2 team is one of the best teams I've ever played against. I've played against, again, haven't played the French top 4, you know, other than Vitality, that stayed the same. I have played all of their players, and this G2 team, it's the pressure, the speed. They do not look bad. This team looks unreal.
No, they don't look bad. They look
do
good.
not look
Actually,
worse than
no,
the
they look really good. You guys are just they're
Hmm.
misconstruing when people put G2 outside of the top 4, outside of the top 5.
Outside
It's
of the
not
top
because we're saying that
5.
they're bad. It's because we're saying Falcons look really good. EU top 4 looks
Against
really
who?
good against Rule 1. Did you watch Mina
And
grand
Rule 1
final?
playing
Yeah,
last,
pretty
but-
tight
last
too.
weekend?
They look very good. Both
Game
of
But
them
Game
they
look very
always
good.
do that though.
No,
Like,
well,
no,
I mean, I don't think they do. I
that
think,
always
you know,
happens in Mina.
did you watch? Because you're asking earlier, did people watch the NA gameplay? Did you watch the MENA gameplay? Because you're
I will
speaking very
say-
confidently about G2 being better than Falcons. I watched both, actually.
Mhm.
I watched the entire runs of both teams. So
I
if
respect it.
that's
You have
the,
watched
if
more
that's the
MENA than me
metric,
this season. I respect that.
I'm just saying it's not G2 look really good, but so do these other teams. It's not an insult to G2 to rank them lower than very, very good teams who are proven players and who look phenomenal right now online in their own regions. I think that they're all very good teams. They all have a chance internationally. But right now, based on the one event I've seen, this is all subject to change. I rank the EU teams very, very close at the top. I think they've all elevated to Vitality's previous level, and Vitality were best in the world at the end of last season.
Yo, Bizzle, what you think, man?
Okay.
I think the one interesting thing that Retals, the one argument he may have had, which I don't think necessarily applies, is that Dan Beast Mode and Atomic, sure, they're absolutely great together, but comparing them to Falcons, you have three players who have performed internationally several times, and with Daniel Beast Mode and Atomic, there's just not that same body of work. So sure, if you want to treat
They
every
won the
team as
last
different,
event.
because
It was crew
like
battles.
66% of the roster stays the same and only one player changes, or maybe two players change, but all three of those players have the recent individual performances on LAN. Daniel Beast Mode and Atomic, I don't think have impressed as recently as TRK, Roas, and Clears. So I think that seeing Falcons, seeing how they're playing, especially against Rule One, it's not like it was not like it was a gimme game. Like Rule One were playing really well, but Falcons were playing that much better. So I really think that Falcons being number 5 is not that crazy, because you have those players. They have performed internationally. They can perform internationally. And I just don't think we really know about Daniel and Beast Mode and Atomic. Sure, they're playing against G League North America, but the NBA is in Europe, and you can't really compare. I'm sorry, like G2 against the field is not as impressive in North America as
Did you
Europe
just call us the
is.
G League?
And not even, I was talking about Falcons, but MENA, they still passed that test for me. So
I'm sorry. Normally,
Surely-
Was Gamers 8 like a scrim? Was that like a show match, like $100 show match?
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
it
when
was
did we
for
start
Rattles.
taking
Rattles,
Gamers 8 results
Rattles, it
seriously
depends-
for,
it
this
depends
is
who
news
wins.
to me.
I'm not
It
saying
depends
it's
who
Alright,
wins,
alright.
Rattles. It depends
Johnny,
who wins.
I do
if
not
an
get
NA
started
team
on
wins,
depends on who wins.
No, listen. I'm just saying that in my opinion, it does matter. But like in the opinions of other people, in G8, it depends who wins. If an NA team wins, it matters. If they don't, it doesn't matter. Like it depends season to season. So I guess this season it matters to some people.
Okay,
God.
I have a question for the Falcons supporters here, because historically MENA has not done well against North American teams. So what's different this time that makes you guys have that higher ranking?
Well, what part of history are we talking about here?
Fall major last year, World Championship. I'm not counting complexity. If you're counting
Yeah,
complexity,
no. Fall major last year was an event where Falcons tried a different play style, didn't work. They didn't do it again. Winter major, they got eliminated by a Gen G team that looked like a good series. They beat NA's Dignitas in the group. Where they went 1-1 against NA. I don't think Dignitas were a good representation of
Agreed.
a top NA team. But it is tough. This is going to be an interesting season for MENA, because it's the first time that you're not going to an international event, a major, as the only team. And there's a ton of pressure in that not a lot of regions can relate to. When you're the only team repping your region at a major, the other regions, EU had 5, NA had 5 teams. You're the only team. You don't show up, the whole region's on fire. But, for NA, a team can show up and, bomb out a world's last place, and it's fine, because there's another NA team to pick up the pieces. Same thing for EU. When you had, like, BDS losing in spring last season, last place, dead last. No problem, you got Moist winning the event. But it's really tough when you got one team. And I think, the average placement of that MENA team, the MENA 1, has been top 8 in the world. So they're clearly there over the course of the whole season. They've netted a bonus world spot for the region both of the previous seasons. Averaged a top 8. Like, you can't ask for more than that from the one team from an emerging region, in my opinion.
And look, it's not like this. I still don't think anybody's saying that G2 like can't beat Falcons, or G2 can't like punch into the top 4 like you were saying earlier, Johnny. But it's just hard. It's hard to watch the North American field and the gameplay versus what we're seeing out of other teams that are major bound. And I just don't think that having, like, if you want to put them 4, if you don't rate Falcons that high, I still think that's still valid. But I don't think that Falcons being above G2 is really that crazy of a take.
It's just not insulting. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
NA fans and some like NA people in the scene are getting offended by this. I'm like, you guys shouldn't be offended by that. You should just realize that that is a really good team. It's not slander to G2 to rank them number 6 in the world right now. It just isn't. Like, the rest of the world just looks really good, and I think G2 look really good as well. And if they can keep this form up, maybe get a bit more good practice in the region as other teams. I think Gen G will improve. I think M80 will improve. I think Space Station will stop getting unlucky with schedules. And there's already some team. LG is already in the top 4 points. There are teams who can improve here and have had chances against them. They're just not taking them. If they start, taking those open nets, taking those like free chances against G2, I think that's better for G2. A bit more, regional practice. They're there. They're in the conversation. I don't understand why people are getting offended by people ranking them number 6. Like, if you're getting offended by that, you should be offended by somebody ranking Gentlemates number 6 because they've actually got more evidence to support them.
Johnny,
Bates,
do you think you're winning, son?
what's that? Me as a caster? I always win. I just cast the games. Like, I win every time. It's great. Like, it's honestly the best job. You don't have to play. There's no pressure. You just show up, pick up the microphone, and watch and see what happens. Yeah, I'm winning.
Somebody slide Johnny the meme. Because I changed up the language a little bit, but we all get it. Ben, it's about time I dunk on EU. Give me Johnny's first list. Give me Johnny's first list, please, Ben, because Johnny boy, I need you to explain this relatively clearly, because it is insulting. So let's see here. G2 Esports, this is after one event. G2 Esports was ranked number 6. Gen G was ranked number 7. That's after G2 swept Gen G. After they swept them, Falcons beat Rule 1. Because listen, you can talk about everybody else on this panel, but you can't talk about me. Because you know I'm watching Mina as well. Falcons beat Rule 1 4-1 in the grand finals after qualifier number 1 over Amina. I watched that series. It's actually kind of close in a way, but Falcons did beat them 4-1. Now, give me the second ranking for Johnny Boy, please, Ben. Because something's not adding up here. Because somehow, some way, Gen G, that was ranked number 7, got whooped again by the same G2 squad. And then Falcons played Rule 1, and they barely beat them in Game 7, but Falcons didn't move, and G2 didn't move. But Gen G moved down. Where's the sense, Johnny? Make it make sense. Gen 2
I can help you.
has whooped Gen G 2 times in a row. Falcons barely beat Rule 1, yet Falcons are high-ranked tower. I'm not done this yet. Give me the camera. Give me the camera.
No, you asked a question. You asked a question. I can tell you that, and then you can ask the next question. Like, you're asking a question.
Go ahead.
I can make it make sense. It's simple.
Go ahead.
Talk
to me.
We can move on.
Explain to the people.
Yeah, it's very straightforward because I had Gen G ahead of G2 going into the season. G2 beat them. Gen G went down. And then Gen G lost again. They went down. Now, Rule 1, they barely snuck into my top 10 after the first event. They were like my, pick. They were not, I think it was top 9, and then I was like, okay, who else do I go for here? I think I'm going to go for Rule 1. But it could have been SSG. It could have been, it honestly could have been a whole host of teams. It could have been lots of teams. I gave them the nod, and now they're cemented top 10. I'm like, yeah, I made the right choice. They are, in fact, in the top 10, and Gen G have fallen down a bit because they're just not playing well. Like, when they play G2, like, chronic sniping goalkeepers, they're literally driving into each other. I'm like, what is going on? So I've got to, like, look at the quality of the win. Like, when Falcons beat Rule 1, I think both teams played a good series. When G2 beat Gen G, I don't really rate Gen G's performances. So there's a difference for me. I think Gen G, I had to rank them down. But like I said, G2, just because they didn't move doesn't mean that they're not actually changing in my mind. They are solidified now. They were close to, I still think they were close to Gen G after one event. Because I had Gen G ranked ahead of them, swapped the order after one win. And now there's like a gap. So I think G2 is clear, if that makes sense. Like, just because you don't see a team changing rank, it doesn't mean that I've not increased their power level in my head. It's just that there's a gap between rankings that needs to be closed.
And why is the gap between? Interesting. And also, just riddle me this. Talk about this Falcon squad. You know how much I love the Mina boys. TRK, Clears, or last, versus Atomic, Beast Mode, Daniel. Who's the only LAN winner? Since we're talking about LAN results, I heard that about 10 minutes ago. We're talking about LAN results when we're talking to Slater.
What year? Or you want to talk about like what teams? Like, are we going all the way back to what is it 2 years ago now when Atomic won a LAN? Like, I rate Atomic's win. I think it's definitely.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
Record.
I'm sorry.
Did
they make a RCS World's Grand Finals? I believe Atomic is one person playing that too. Now that was
Yeah,
great. That's within the last 2 years.
what is more relevant? I feel like this is a very easy thing we can agree on. Do you think Boston and Worlds
Who
last
made
year
top
are
8?
more
Who
relevant?
made top 8? No.
No, this is a
I'll bring
question.
up Dusseldorf.
What
Who
event
made
is
top
more
8?
relevant?
Who made top 8? Yeah, what is more relevant, Johnny? Riddle me this. Who made top 8 in the most recent RCS land? Was it
TRK and
was it
Atomic.
Twins?
TRK and Atomic, actually.
So now
both.
they're even on that end. Now they're even on that end. That's what it is.
Okay, and then who made top 12 and who wasn't at the event and was sitting at home watching? That's right, Daniel Beastman
I'm sorry.
at home.
Who's
The Twins that they were at the event. Who made top 4 Boston? The Twins. Who didn't play at the event? Daniel Beastman. And also Atomic, by the way. Like, the recent results do not show G2's players doing better. It doesn't. It points at TRK and Atomic. Well, TRK and Atomic, same results. They both made top 8 Worlds. They weren't at Boston. The Twins massively outperformed Daniel and Beast Mode. Both those events. The evidence is there.
Interesting. The evidence is there. And also, I just have one more question for you, because I've already established. I established it last week when we had Carillion Spaceman on. We've already established it. No matter what G2 does, G2 can sweep the whole entire region. They're not moving up on your list because they're not going to be above the top.
They can.
Yeah,
I just said,
but they can't be their own. It's not within their own control. If all the EU teams look good, if all the teams look good or great, you're not moving them. So you're not gonna move them. So
why would I move them?
I mean, why would you move them if there's?
You're talking about the Vitality are by far the best last season. 3 other teams are now looking to be at a very similar level, and you want me based on G2 beating NA teams that don't look like they're playing that well to just go over the top of all of them? I'm like, well, why? Why you don't make that jump by beating NA teams that also don't even look like they're playing at their best? I don't think any team's played at their best versus G2. So I don't even know where G2's level is. They just keep scoring off of mistakes. And they keep
I also feel like G2 didn't have like they didn't have a good regional either, in my opinion. At least in the in bracket, like G2 against Gen.G and against Luminosity. Like I remember 3 times where I exclaimed, "Why is Atomic doing that?" Like just 3 unforced errors in like back-to-back games from Atomic. They didn't look like that in qualifier 1 at all. G2 looked amazing in qualifier 1. I actually thought they took a step back. And
I don't know if I'd say they did.
I want to come back to that.
I don't know. They didn't look as impressive to me.
No,
I want to come back to
that. I think they go better.
But I also want to go to Retals.
Yeah. Johnny, what's more important, winning in NA or winning in MENA?
Honestly, I value the Falcons win more because that final was way higher quality than either of G2's finals so far. That final is worth more, definitely, because you're playing against a team that look world class, not against a team who are completely choking.
Is it higher quality?
I don't want to to turn this into roasting LG.
If we go NA 3 through 12 teams, the 3rd best team through the 12th, and then MENA, right? 3 through 12, 3 through 16, whatever you want to call it. What's better? What's stronger?
Oh, NA for sure. But
so you have, I'm looking at your list on my second monitor. This is your list, not mine. So you have G2 beating, winning the regional. I think only dropping 4 games. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, and not moving. And then you have Falcons, who you have, by the way, Gen.G over Rule 1. Then you have Falcons beating Rule 1. And you're saying that 3 through 12, NA is stronger than 3 through 12 Falcons. So how exactly does that not change 5 to 6? Because I'm just reading, your numbers, your stats.
It doesn't. I think it's not that simple. Like a 10th best team in the world can play better on any given day than the 8th best team in the world, or the 9th best team, the 7th best team. If the 10th best team in the world plays really well, plays like too close to their best, they can give a top 5 team a run for their money. Versus like
there was only the finals. There was an entire regional that was played. G2 played what 5 series, 6 series?
Who played well against G2 in either of the events so far? I think actually the best team was probably you guys in the first event. But even in the grand final this time, you guys completely tossed game 2. I don't know what happened there. That was an absolute
throw. Do you not think that's the product of a G2 team that makes teams wildly uncomfortable?
I don't like you guys had a 3-1 lead against G2 in game 2, and you were driving forward to hit the ball, and then you turned and drove away, and the G2 player hit the ball and went in your net.
If there's one thing I'm not arguing with,
why did you turn? You should just play. Why didn't you just hit the ball, Retals? Why did you fake? Explain that play.
Okay,
so
my question is we're getting on this line of quality, right? Do you think Vitality played similar to how they played when they won the World Championship when they lost to Gentlemates?
That's Alvin's answer, Johnny.
And what versus in the whole series? Yeah, I think we've seen that kind of Vitality performance last season. Yeah, totally.
No.
When they won Worlds, Johnny?
If Vitality didn't, well, the kickoff is ridiculous. If they didn't troll the kickoff and
Yeah,
they
you're
just
right.
won
They
that
would've won.
series and won the final, everybody would say, yeah, Vitality, unbelievable. They're still the best. They didn't do that though. They messed up a kickoff, and I think that is something they're probably working on this second event, because I don't know what they were doing there. That's ridiculous kickoff strat to make it when you're one up and with 12 seconds to go. But that I think Rattles,
I
you
don't
can
know.
probably relate to big kickoffs like that, big moments where one small decision in one literal one play, one set piece can't change the course of an entire tournament. So I think yes, Vitality really not that far off their worlds. I think probably
You-
better than worlds last season, because teams pros do improve over time.
Huh?
Especially
Oh
when they-
Better than Worlds.
I think Vitality, if you put Vitality now against Vitality Worlds, Vitality now would probably win. Because
What? No way.
You think they've got worse? Really?
I mean,
Did
they
you
didn't
watch-
get worse. They
Okay,
didn't
I'm
get,
not gonna be
it's-
like
Rocket,
that.
Rocket League players are constantly getting better at the
That's
game.
my point. They're
That's-
getting better. They're
But
improving.
but they were on a run. Like the synergy, the confidence, the knowing that you're better than else. Like that was the energy. That was a vibe. They have to get back to that. Like for example, it's saying I'll bring it up. My basketball fans, 2015, 26 or 2014, 2015 Warriors won the NBA championship. And then I don't want that. 25, 2016 was 73-9. They added Kevin Durant. But the initial Kevin Durant squad wasn't as good as in synergy wise and as confidence wise as the 73-9 team. If at the midseason to the end, they were better, of course. And they obviously did that. Went back to back. They probably should have won 3 in a row. But it just takes a while to ramp back up to that level. I would definitely wouldn't say Vitality was playing their best ball. I think that much was clear. Them first 4 games, they definitely weren't playing their best ball, and that would have never happened. Vitality last year was a juggernaut. They were
No,
on
they
every
lost.
single.
They did lose last season as well, and they had bad losses last season as well. It wasn't a completely clean resume. So I'm not. I don't think they got worse. I really seriously doubt Vitality have declined in the offseason. I know they've been working hard. I know these teams take it very seriously. These French teams are taking the game more seriously than any other teams in the world, and I think that's probably the difference, the main difference between those teams and every other team, not just teams worldwide, but other teams in Europe. They are the most professional teams, and I don't think it's likely they've gotten worse. I would. It's all speculation. We can't see Vitality play Vitality, but I mean, that's my opinion.
Man.
Fair opinion. I think I'm more along the lines of the opposite to me. I feel like the first couple of games between Gentlemates could have been avoided. There were some goals that went in. I don't think should have happened. And then I think once they got to that match point down 3-1, they realized that streak was going to end. And then that's when you saw that intensity that Base was talking about, where they forced a game 7. I think if they play like that from the start, you don't even go game 7 there. It should be like a 5. It should be the other way around. But that's kind of where I'm on the mind.
Close. It wouldn't have been close. That's all I gotta say. Also, I just got one more thing for you, Johnny. Johnny, all your data, all your statistics, all your knowing ball better than Riddles and turn your predictions and all that nonsense. It's all out the window this year, JB. You know why?
Oh, this year's different, is it? Is this different?
Oh, it's
not
very
the
different.
same. Okay.
It's very different.
Why is that?
You ever seen 3 top 5 players in NA all join the same team?
You're in your top 5, yeah, probably. It's most likely happen. I think you guys would probably up it like the NRG roster at or close to top 5 when they were dominating 2 years ago. And FaZe, when they joined, you guys are calling them a super team. Can't believe the world let this happen. This team's gonna crush everybody. Didn't happen. I don't know. I've got to see it to believe it. It's not happened yet.
We'll see. I enjoyed y'all's conversation. I enjoyed it.
That's valid. Of course, this is Riddles. This is where we let you go. Before we do, I want to say thank you for coming on, and obviously give you the floor. If there's any final words, shout outs you want to make, please.
I'm excited for the LAN. I think it's gonna be a fun LAN. I think this is the most we've had, pressure wise, like cultural pressure wise, since COVID. I think, with the 7-month off season, whatever we had, with how good G2's looking, with how good EU's top 4 is looking, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. So appreciate you guys having me on. And
can I just say as well, like I genuinely do hope you guys make it. I know we've been clashing a bit today, but you guys are a really fun team to watch, not just on the pitch, but I love the energy, and I hope you qualify. I think you will qualify. I back you guys to go to the major, and yeah, I'm rooting for you genuinely. So yeah, good luck to you this week. What is it now? Two weekends from now. Good luck. And this weekend, actually, with the qualifier.
True. Can't be Shopify.
Don't be Shopify. Don't be Shopify. Retals, thank you so much. If you guys want to follow Retals, please do at Retals on Twitter and at Retals RL on Twitch, as well as YouTube and other platforms. Slater, thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Tamar.
All right. We've got the crew and the two J's here as we are going to shift here to talk about EU versus the world. Question is, which region has the best chance of taking down Europe? Falcons qualified for Copenhagen. Jorby, are you still, how are you and Sam? How's the relationship with South America going with you recently?
Oh, I mean, honestly, if you've been a South American fan, then this season you're probably having the most fun that you've had, because it has been more competitive than ever. You got teams, a lot of roster moves happened, and some teams that you think would be perennial contenders aren't, because new teams have stepped up, right? I mean, Furia and Complexity moving back to the region. First of all, can I just say CRR being in South America is not fair, okay? That's like a cheat code. Complexity look very good, but so do Furia. Adding Drafinho was a huge addition to that roster, and when they are when they're 100% serious mode, like, that's a scary team. And I do think that Furia team can do some good damage internationally. But you also, outside there, you still got Ninjas in Pajamas. You still have crew who aren't even making top 8 sometimes. Like, they were out of Swiss this time around, and that's AJG, Card, and Bems on that team. But then you have other teams like Shaman Esports, who just make top 8 out of nowhere. And then, so a lot more teams are like making it into top 8. You have W7M, who are playing pretty consistently, and I think I said Hero Base as well. But there's a lot of teams to look at. There's like 5 teams that, if they're playing well on their day, I mean, if Furia and Complexity, those are kind of the 2 mainstays. Ninjas in Pajamas, you have to include them in there. It's probably more of a 3-legged race, but there's a lot more teams outside of that 3 that can beat those teams, that can pull those upsets off. I think Complexity and Furia have shown they are definitely a cut above the rest of the region in terms of their consistency through 2 qualifiers. But this region looks the best it's ever looked.
Who's better for you right now, Jorby?
What's that?
Who's better for you, Furia or Complexity?
Right now, Furia. I really don't know what happened in the first grand final against Complexity. Very weird. They swept them in Swiss, and then it was just so many mistakes, so many errors, and Dorito also really popped off in that grand finals. But they got the better of them this time in semifinals. Made mincemeat of Ninjas in Pajamas afterwards. The thing is, it's 3 mechanical monsters, and their synergy is so palpable. You know, those guys are having a ton of fun with each other. If you like watch the Furia socials at all, and any of their interactions, like with the team and stuff, everyone is, it just seems, the appearance at least is everyone's having a great time with it, and everyone's feeling really good. So when you're playing that well and you're feeling really good as a team, and that Brazilian confidence comes out, man, and that's a scary thing. That is a scary thing when they come in confident. I really think this Furia team has a chance to get in there and cause some upsets.
When I initially asked you, it was more so to see if you still, were vibing and rooting for him. But it seems like, based on your answer, you do think that out of all the other regions, they have the best chance of taking down Europe.
Yeah, I could totally see Furia on their day beating Drawley, Monkey Moon. I could see that. Exotic. It could definitely happen. I don't know about any of the other 3, I'll be honest with you.
It's a new tune I'm hearing from you now, Jorbizzle.
It's a new tune? What do you mean?
Jorby, we'll be throwing the flag,
like waving the flag.
Bora. If he said they could beat anybody, what's going on here?
What's going on, Bates?
That's
When you get
arguably the
older,
best
you get
Furia roster of all time. Older.
Oh,
You ain't
yeah,
getting that much older.
Every year we're a little bit older, Bates. I think we're almost 2 years past the faded Moist Furia quarterfinal. And it's a completely new team as well from
it is.
when that team won too. So it's also hard to say. And look, let's be honest. We got to look at the results. We got to see how the team has played when they were in North America. And clearly their time in North America helped them out when they moved back to South America. But now you still have to see them get it done internationally. The international stage is not somewhere we got to see them a lot. In Boston, they completely flopped out. And now with Drafinho on the team, you see the comfort there. You see the synergy. And they have the mechanics. They have the style. They're so good. So, yeah, I do think that they could punch into that European top 4. I think that KC and Vitality and maybe even Gentlemates at this point, I think they're clear above all the rest. I think BDS looked the most vulnerable out of those four. But I mean, that's BDS, and put Monkey Moon on land, and Monkey Moon will do Monkey Moon things, right? But I can still see
I need them
Furia
Gentlemate
really
stocks,
taking
bro.
that shot.
Them Gentlemate stocks are great, bro.
Yeah,
They-
I
They are.
actually
They're really good. Juicy's so much
I
more
know
comfortable.
that's crazy.
on
Yeah,
that
I
team.
know. He must be the greatest player of all time. Yeah, him. Yeah, he's a good player. I need them juicy stocks, man.
I don't know. I think with a little bit more composure, this was my take on BDS. With a little bit more composure from Drawley specifically, I think BDS is better than Gentlemates in my opinion. I don't know
I mean,
what
that's
you.
fair. If he's consistent, and I mean, Drawley will probably get there, right? Still young, still getting new to the RLCS experience, and I definitely expect him to get better. But maybe that won't happen by the time LAN gets here. And that, while rookies in Rocket League have historically performed well on LAN, it might not, might not work out for them. Too much experience on Furia. All right, I'm saying it. Furia versus BDS. I'm taking Furia.
Oh gosh.
Fury versus
Honestly,
BDS, he's taking Fury. Okay, that's still
valid.
not the same
valid.
tune, Jorby.
What's that?
Still not the same tune, Jorby. I'm disappointed. All right, no, all right,
that's okay.
I already know what Mina Man's gonna say. He's gonna say Falcons. He's gonna say Mooney has the best chance taking on EU. Ain't that correct? Based off your
Well,
rankings.
yeah, I don't think it's by much though. I think that they both have a similar chance, but I would give Falcons the edge right now. I think they're more familiar with the EU style of gameplay. They play against these guys all day in ranked. They play against them in scrims as well. So yeah, I have to give Falcons the edge right now. I think they are just gonna have more of an understanding of how beating EU works right now. Yeah, I don't know how early G2 are planning to get out to Europe to boot camp, but yeah, the earlier the better. I think for them to give them the best chance possible.
Mm.
Johnny, what do you have? What's your opinion on my take? BDS being better than Gentlemates.
The potential, yes. Individually, yes, but as we all know, that it's not all down to individual skill in Rocket League. The team vibes, the confidence, and the just the game plan are all very important these days. And when you get to that level, I think the importance of those aspects get amplified, and they're all very very close in skill. So I think, yeah, I definitely like the Gentlemates. I like the Gentlemates game plan. It's very 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 clean. BDS maybe a little bit more reliant on execution. So I think they're going to be a little bit less consistent, higher peak, lower floor than Gentlemates. So if you like consistency, probably go with the mates. If you like the higher peak, I think you
Mates.
go with BDS. But they're both phenomenal teams. And you got to remember, Drally just played his debut RLCS event. Like, if that's his debut, if that's his first event, then sky's the limit for that kid. He's
Pretty
incredible.
good. Yeah.
Valid. Gentlemen down here, what are we thinking? Which region has the best? I feel like I know the answer, but still got to give the take.
Well, I mean, in winning the LAN, it would be NA, but to compete against the EU, I think it'd be me. And I think Falcons and Rule One can both come in and really compete against EU because they play them all the time in ranked. I don't know if they scrim them. I don't know if they scrim. I don't know about the scrim schedules over there, and EU/MENA. But I mean, they do play them all the time ranked. They know how to style, and I think just that MENA style, anyways, are just they also can play physical. They play boomer ball, but they also have the mechanics, and I think that might mess with the EU teams more so than all four of the NA teams that we send. And then yes, I'll go with MENA just to compete against them. But I think NA, I do believe that G2 has a better shot of winning the LAN than Falcons or Fury or Complexity.
I feel like if Luminosity could be more consistent, I do really like Luminosity. Like they're a fun team, but I actually do think that like all the talk was about Cheese. Cheese topped all the statistical categories. He scored all the goals, but I thought Magic Bear looked really good. Like that was probably the most consistent I've seen Magic Bear. Like the reason Cheese scored half the goals that he did was because Magic Bear was so consistent. Drilling that ball out of the corner, getting him passes. He was great on defense. He was great in the midfield. I just think things on both sides of him kind of fall apart. And Luminosity, their physical play style, it seems to live and die by it. If they're not getting bumps and demos, if they're not forcing the other team off their rotation, they have no offense. So I feel like they have to find a way to be versatile because against Europe, I mean, especially the top four in Europe, like those guys are going to be experts at dodge and demos. And if the demo game doesn't work, like you can't rely on that heavily to be successful consistently. You have to have other ways to beat these teams, and I do think that they have the makings for it. Magic Bear and Cheese, both of them extremely mechanical. but I just, yeah, I need to see Luminosity be way more versatile than what I've seen so far through regionals. But like you can tell, like individually, I think it's there. I like the team. I really do.
Exactly. I agree.
Now,
I think they can beat the
Right.
mates. I think they can beat the BDS. That's
I
right.
don't know about that top four being experts. Tao and Rise were kind of running through that top four the first regional with the
I mean, that's
demos
fair. I
and
mean,
bumps.
Casey feel a level above sometimes, right? But you know, you're not
Yeah.
wrong.
But I would agree with the Mina being able to compete, but I also agree with Bates that G2 would be more in favor. I'd have G2 more in favor to win majors than Mina.
Fair, definitely fair, valid. I mean, we'll all see how things work when it comes time for Copenhagen. Everybody still qualifying. We need to see who's going to represent what. It'll give us a clearer picture. But that being said, it's still good to be able to talk about this with you all. And Johnny, I know you have to go, so again, thank you for being able to take some time, address Slater, talk to us about Europe for a little bit. We really appreciate it, man.
Keep it up, guys. I'm looking forward to watching the show every week when I'm not on, and it's been a pleasure to join you guys for a conversation anytime I'm available. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the show, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you,
Thank
bro.
you for being here.
Appreciate
Appreciate you,
Johnny.
too.
See you, Johnny.
All right. Down to 4. It's fun. It's fun.
You
Listen,
guys
I'm
really
not-
threw me in the middle of that. That was crazy.
Listen, it was hot.
It was a
I
war
could feel the heat
zone.
in my room as all that was going on. I didn't expect it to get as hot as it did, but also, I mean, they did.
I didn't
They
expect
kept it
Johnny
cordial for the
to
most
say
part.
say less to Retals. That was crazy.
Jorby's in the middle ducking shots.
He said, "Oh."
Jorby, what
God.
ducking shots? Oh, let me stand back up, bro. I don't like sitting down for the show, man. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You see the
Stand
desk
up.
I like
moving
you
up.
guys
was-
do a little pacing.
Wait, why is it too high?
Now you look small.
Yeah, now you-
Wait, it's very high right now. What's
Well,
going
wait,
on?
is the chair taller than you? That's crazy.
He's like looking up, but his
No, the
hands
chair's
sticking
not
down
taller
for
than
the
me.
mic.
Like you stood up and your height did not change, bro.
Dang,
Bro,
I said that
hold
at the
on.
All-Star game, bro.
Jorby, first off, you know I'm not tall, man. And
That's
second off,
that's how he's looking on that G2 desk too.
Yep.
what do you mean the G2 desk?
When on the G2 stream, you look like it's just your head popping over the desk they got on the screen.
Oh yeah, it is.
Good. That's all you need to see.
There you go.
My head, you got all you gotta do see is my head and just listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth because nothing but excellence. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. I personally enjoyed the Retals versus Johnny. That was
Yeah,
cute.
it was fun.
It was cute. It
was
was cute,
cute.
man. It
Mhm.
was nice, man. I think
Pizza
Johnny's
work.
I think Johnny's stretching. I think everybody's stretching out that's repping EU, but it's fine though. And like I said, I'm just letting everybody's biases come out now slowly. Y'all
Yeah.
realize that Tyler Bates is one of the most unbiased persons in Rocket League. I just like watching good games.
But all I'm saying is that this all goes away because all the people out there that are sick of having the entire community dunk on NA, this all goes away with results.
Does it?
Like as soon as you go to Copenhagen and you start beating teams, everyone's gonna start shutting up. That's all I'm saying, and we just
Oh,
haven't
that's what's
seen
gonna
it.
happen.
Well, not
Okay.
everybody.
I don't
But
think
once you
everybody
shut- I mean,
Or
once
no,
I'll
you're
shut
right,
up,
you're right.
the
Stumpy's
other
still
side
gonna
start getting a
tweet.
lot louder.
Stumpy's still gonna tweet. You're right.
I think it'll just be a goal. I think it'll just be a goalpost shift.
Oh yeah. Well, you know.
Oh, it's
those
about
are
time you
the rest
got
of the
one. It took
world.
you about 2 years.
Yeah.
Bates, you know all about moving goalposts, bro.
Listen, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
That says enough. That says enough.
Lawyer
Okay?
Bates came out.
Something that also can't be denied is the stats, at least in terms of this next segment. Qualifier chaos. Moist fails to make EU qualifier number 2. What is going on? Let's take a look at EU standings right now. Listen, as one of the few people who was not high on Moist, and everybody was high on the Moist train, I saw it. I said, something's not going right here. I did not expect them to not qualify altogether, though. That is wild. Absolutely wild. They're sitting 11 right now with 7 points. They're not going to be able to get any more when the event starts. So a bunch of teams are going to make a much better get a pass and probably have a better run in the major unless something really wrong happens in Swiss. But we got to talk about this for a little bit here because, again, same thing as NA when Rebellion didn't qualify. But this time around, it's Moist this time. How do we feel? Jorby, you first.
Dude, I like the Joyo. Joyo deserves so much better than this, man. All right. I am so sick of seeing Joyo not be a top 4 on a top 4 team. I'm sick of this. Like, Rise and Vatira, they're like, yo, let's go have a party without our boy Joyo. Come on now. It makes me so sad. And like, I didn't know what to think about the roster when they first formed. Certainly not the roster I would have had, Joyo go on, but like his team. I believe he's the one who's picking the players that he wants to play with, as far as I understand. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. But this one's just not working out. I mean, you got a guy with not as much experience as Joyo, and I don't know. Like I expected this Moist team to struggle, Daz, kind of along the same lines you did. But it's frustrating when, especially in qualifier one. Now I didn't get to watch Moist in the double elimination portion of the qualifier, but in qualifier one, I'm watching Joyo do everything, dude. Like I'm watching this guy still be a top 5 talent in I was about to say North America, in Europe. Like the kid is just way too good for him to not be in the top 16, for him to not be in the top 8, for him to not be in the top 4. So I'm just frustrated. All right, I'm venting my emotions to you. It's not that I'm saying that Moy should be better. It's not that I'm saying that they should be worse. It's that I'm saying Joyo is way better than his results say, and it's ridiculous that he cannot be in the top 16, man. That's all I'm saying.
Although I do agree with you, Jorby, that he should not be losing these games. I think this is on him. Like you said, he picked the team, so this is what you get when you pick this roster. I think the first qualifiers, Oli was showing some promise. I thought they could be a 1-2 punch, but Rezi showed a lot of inconsistency, and maybe that's what transpired in this last qualifiers where they're not able to make it. I personally had Moist being the 5th team. I thought it was top 4 in the EU, the powerhouses, and then a huge, like there was a tier below them, and it was Moist by themselves, kind of, and then the tier below them was the rest of whoever you wanted to put in there. You have Resolve, you have Endpoint, a couple other teams that are in their redemption, obviously, and then, but looking at it now, it's just like, all right, well, it's just the top 4 in EU. You're looking at the rest of this, and EU calls it their depth. So I don't know if we're gonna be looking at the depth, because when they go up against that top 4, they don't seem to be competitive at all. But
look, I just see a lot of people in chat saying Joyo the most overrated player of all time. Joyo overrated. I'm sorry. You guys are not watching Joyo play. Are you?
Talk to him there,
insane?
Jorby. Talk to
Like,
me.
are you guys? Like, what in the world?
Give me some. Okay.
Bates. You talk about the eye test. No one in chat
Yep.
has eyes. This is ridiculous.
Oh.
What
Yup.
is going on here? How do you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
Joyo
Chat.
play and be like, yeah, that guy's not very good. That
Yup.
guy's definitely not as good as anybody else. Yeah,
Facts.
his mechanics. Who cares? He doesn't win. And it's like, dude, Rocket League's a weak league game. There are 3 players on your team. You watch Joyo play. Guess what? He's doing everything. What more do you want the guy to do for his team? What more do you want him to do? He can barely do much more. The man is trying to break through the ceiling, but it's a giant titanium steel ceiling. There's no way he can. He's hampered, man. I'm sorry. This team's
seasoning.
not it.
Add some seasoning.
Whew, this is ridiculous. Watch Joyo play. Then tell me he's overrated. This is crazy. It's crazy talk, man.
Listen,
That's what happens when your team doesn't make top 16 anymore. Is everyone's just like, well, that individual player's overrated. This is like putting First Killer 19th on your top 20 players of the year.
You're talking about the Chef Flop 20?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Well,
shut
people
down.
don't start to justify it now.
we're using team results to describe how an individual performs on an individual level. And I'm
okay, there
talking
we go, Jorby.
individually about
Whoa.
Joyo. All right.
He came back. Oh gosh, Sous Chef Bates, did you want to cook here as well?
I mean, man, I got 2-pronged analysis here. One, qualifiers are tough. Spaceman tweeted out that malarkey over the weekend saying or a week ago saying the NA, paraphrasing, the NA Shopify missing out or something about these new formats gonna make NA teams try hard because now they gotta always play in the qualifiers. They always have the backs against the wall. And I quote tweeted it saying, okay, we'll see what happens with EU when one of them top 8 teams don't make it. And Moist didn't make it this time around because the qualifiers are simply hard. It's hard, man. It's hard when you got your money on the line, you got your contract on your line, you got, and some of these players, they're at the moment, I mean, it's hard to think about your future when you're in the moment. So they're thinking, I need to make this, I need to make this shake. And you got more pressure than some of these other teams. And that ends up happening. It's really hard to win best of 3s, really hard to win best of 5s in that type of environment. And Moist ultimately ended up was the one bowing out. So that's tough. The qualifiers are really tough, man. And I'd be feeling for these squads, bro. I'd be feeling for them because I know I wouldn't want to put anybody through any of these qualifiers. Not when you got the credentials like that, not when you got the resume, not when you've already done well. You did well in qualifier 1 and then you're back. It's tough. It's very tough. Second point is it's time for Joyo, time for Moist, time for Charlie and the boys. Bring Joyo and bring them on over to NA. Bring them over to Florida. Bring them over to home base and get them 2 players. Get them 2 players. It's been overdue. It's been long overdue. Bring them on over here. Bring them over here.
Ooh.
You want to talk about the boot camps? You want to talk about that? Trust me. NA fans, listen, we'll accept you, Moist. The problem right now is that you're over there.
Hey,
Huh?
Who they
Ooh.
gonna pick up?
I don't know, man. It might be during the off season or something like that. It might be too late. It might be too late. I'm
After the
saying for
trade
the
window?
for future perspectives. Future
Poab?
perspective. What?
Poab?
I don't know. They can pick up some players. I'm talking about you got build around Joya, but bring them over to NA. Put them in that Florida base. Bring the boys over there. Get 2 other people that want to be there with them. Who want to grind. Who want to be the best. And that's for NA fans. But we'll love you. But by the way, we need like NA in general. We need a big content creator to support their team.
You talking about the numbers.
So we can take you, Charlie. You take you, Charlie. We take your Moist. Bring that over here. Bring that Joyo freestyle. And we gonna make it right for him. We gonna get him right. We gonna get him right.
Bro's trying to
Are
poach
there any like
Moist.
big like content creator orgs in NA? I know that there's like a bunch, or the more and more popping up in Europe, but like outside of like Ludwig and Charlie, like I haven't really heard anything about like any content creators in NA have like esports teams with a big following.
I don't believe so.
I don't watch content creators. So don't ask
Yeah, I
me.
mean that's why I'm asking. Like,
don't ask me.
you want to bring the views? Do we have anybody to bring in the views? You know
No,
what
but
I
I'm saying Moist can bring in the views because they'll be watching NA then.
mean? No. I hear you. You're saying boys pick up an NA team. I feel you. Maybe bring
that's right.
Joyo over.
Bring Joyo over. That's what you need
Hey,
to
don't
do.
let Johnny hear you want to bring another EU guy over to NA. Don't let him hear you saying that.
Nah, but
Hey,
this is
at this
different,
point, man, import it.
what do you mean? No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We fine. We fine over here. We fine. We had all American grand final. Y'all just past weekend. We okay. We chilling. We good. We good over here. We don't need nobody else. But I'm saying it's just I believe it's in Moist's best interest to come on over here.
Oh yeah,
I like
Jinxie
that.
on Jinxie, and then Nate Shot streams his stuff too. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but they don't care about
Oh, you
Rocket
saying
League,
about
so it
in
don't matter.
general.
Yeah, I'm saying okay.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
how do we
no,
get
it's
how do we
people
get
over
the
there.
how do we get the big dogs interested in Rocket League and NA?
Just
I
put
don't
them in
know.
a room with first touch. We'll get 'em.
True.
I can't convince them.
You can't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Let me work. That's why
I can't sell it. I can't sell it to them if they haven't seen it yet. I don't know what else to tell them. So it just is what it is.
All right. Well, where were we? Of course, yes. The boys feeling to make qualifier 2. Qualifiers are hard. We're all kind of on the same point of that. The follow up I have for this is it surprising or should it start to be expected at this point?
What?
A top 8 team makes top 8. They might not make it the next time around. Should we start to expect that now, or are we still?
Yeah, it should be
on the-
expected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be
The
expected.
double elimination portion is just so volatile.
tough.
That it's bound to happen every time, at least for one team.
You ain't playing those scrubs out there now.
Yeah.
But the teams they lose to, all these players are good now. That's what I was talking about. It's just once you get up to that 2,000, that 2,100, people can attest to that. Demar can't, but Raul can. Once you get up there to that level, you really nice at the game, and you always have a chance to beat somebody. If the odds are low, but there's a chance, and as long as that chance exists, there's just two. There's always gonna be somebody missing out.
Look,
that's a
Demar, do you
shame.
want? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to respond
Like,
to that real
first
quick?
of all, I've beaten 2K MMR players at tourney before.
Yeah,
not
that's right. You have you done it with me, Raul,
That's
and
right.
probably other people too.
That's right. So
I
But
will
I-
say
I'll
that
put a little bit of respect on my name. Thank you very much. I have been out of practice. I'm getting old. It's okay, but watch. Next tournament I'm playing, I'm hitting a double. I'm yelling, I'm 28.
Don't yell that out.
Oh, man.
I'm in disagreement with both of y'all, honestly. I think it is a surprise. But you have teams that are solidified top 5, top 8. Like they're consistently making these top 8s. They should be making these. And that's the boomer take in me. And I will keep that boomer take.
It's the
I
boomer
play
in you.
professional. I play professionally. I think you should be beating these teams. You have no reason to not be beating these teams.
That's
I
delusional.
understand they're rank grinders. I understand they're 2100. You
But
should have more
isn't
respect
part
for
of the
you.
problem we always talked about with NA rolled is like part of the problem is that there's not enough guys in the bullpen. Not enough guys in AAA on the come up. But I don't know, because like I've been casting Dignitas during that double elimination portion, and day one is a stomp every time, the way that you would expect it to be. And then
Mhm.
like when you get to the second
Wrong.
match in uppers on day 2, like some of these teams that are playing at least against Dignitas, and I'm thinking about the first qualifier when Dignitas were looking top 4 quality. Like there are some individual players on some of these teams that are like top 128, top 64. I'm not saying these guys are like, oh my god, they're incredible.
Top 32.
But like they forced
Former world
Dignitas to
champions.
actually play, to
Oh.
actually like not goof off and lean forward in their chair. And there are a lot of good kids out there.
I'm-
Like
I'm-
a
yeah.
lot of good unknown kids. And
And there's
think that-
there's known people too, Jorby. Bro,
known
man,
people, yeah.
Yeah.
Moist lost to K-Dop, Shaw said, and Rich Fox.
I
They lost
know.
to K-Dot, bruh.
I know, dude.
Nah, bro. No. Wait, look,
Is K-Dot bum soft,
When's the
dog?
last time K-Dot's made a? When's the last time? Tell me.
Last season.
How long ago was that, bro? Yo, K-Dop's only getting older. It's done.
He might not be at the world championship
K-Dot can
contending
barely air
level,
roll now,
but he
man.
ain't no scrub. He could never air roll, so it doesn't matter. And they ain't no scrub.
It doesn't, bro. When you have someone who, well, a bunch of us are claiming to be near the top 5 level in Europe. Like he's up there, Joyo. He should not be losing to this roster. man.
Carmine lost
He
to
should not be losing to
Saw.
K-Dot.
He should not be
losing to
this
K-Dot.
Carmine lost to Saw.
I
Carmine
mean,
did lose to Saw.
they shouldn't have done that either.
But some made top 16 at least.
Yeah, at least they're main event grinders.
They're
there.
making it at least, bare min. I'm saying in North America, I understand these players can't compete. Like there are players that we're saying that North America doesn't take chances on these players, but I think these players tend to be a little bit choky, tend to be a little bit and when it comes to when they actually get chances, they tend to not be able to perform, or they don't take it as serious as they should. When they play against some of these top teams where they're like, yo, we have nothing to lose, then you see them kind of performing like they're playing with something to prove. But then they get these chances, they get these opportunities, then they're off the grid. Like, where do they go? Like, you don't see the same level of performance from them. So I'm not like that, and I think that's just in NA. In EU, it seems to be a lot more of these in the qualifiers where they'll claim the depth. And I don't watch these games in particular. I see some people popping up, but I expect it to be the same thing. I know in EU, it's more of the mindset of we can beat anybody, and that goes throughout the whole thing. What I'm saying is these top teams, they should not be losing. It doesn't matter who you are. You should not be
maybe
losing.
the gap between like teams across all regions, it might be overstated a little bit, because
There we go.
if mental can be the difference between a team, or between a top 32 team or a top 16 team beating a top 4 team, if it's just like weak mental, you're not like, leaning forward in your chair, if you will. If that's the only difference, then maybe the gap's a lot smaller than we think it is the whole way down. Like I think that there's definitely a possibility there, because you can look at examples in North America of teams losing to teams that they shouldn't be losing to. You can look at a bunch of examples in Europe of losing to teams you shouldn't be losing to, even outside of KCSA. And I think that it just goes to show you that you can't be caught sleeping against.
I think it
against those
comes to
teams.
the discussion of the way the schedule is, right? Because for a lot of teams, it was okay, I show up on Sunday, let's get this job done, and then we come back next week. Now you got to give it to them every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back to back to back. And because the level of teams, the quality has gone up. And I feel like that level of output, on top of having the scrims and everything else, really starts to cause a little bit of that. We start seeing a little bit more of that inconsistency, because that pressure is applied to you every single night. Versus when it only in the past, okay, we just got to show up on Sunday, win 3, get three series, we good. We could prep for that, see whose teams are there. But now it's okay, we got to go through the bracket, playing this team, and you don't know who is on the other side of it. You know the name, but you don't know what they've been doing. You don't scrim them, so then you see all that happen, and then that's when you get those drop offs.
Honestly, I think most of it goes away if everything's just best of 5. If everything's best of 5 and
I
and
agree with that.
the seeding goes a little better,
Moist
a
lost
lot
both
of it
best
probably
fives.
goes away.
Moist lost both best fives. The reality is that there's a lot of Rocket League players that are good at this game. They're really great. There's a lot of, and defense is easier than offense. And the gap between like Joyo, probably best player on the field when he plays solory. He plays resolve, okay? But I mean, like, it's not that distinctive.
Like, you can't hard carry at the top.
But then, like,
game.
but his teammates
it
ain't
doesn't
bad. Like,
matter.
Oli and them not bad either, though. But Shaw, you're playing Shaw said, you're playing K-Dot, you're playing Red Fox. Like, these are good players. These are great players. They're all 2,200, 2,300,
But
former world
they
champions.
lost 3-1. It's not like it was like a close.
I
Like,
don't know the score.
series.
The score of the games. You act like they're blowing them out. They probably weren't even blowing them out. And
Okay,
then you know, and it's a game just close. The game's really close. They got a lot of great people, and so like that line, that delineation, when you don't, they probably don't even scrim solo like that. So they
Well,
just
they
playing them in
should.
the bracket.
Look, if
Why?
you have
There's
a
too many
chance to
teams
be
to
playing,
scrim. I can't scrim all these teams.
if you have a chance to be playing against one of these teams, you should be scrimming them. That is exactly why G2 last season was at the top for so long. They didn't lose to anybody that they shouldn't have lost to because they were scrimming everybody. I know I've talked to Matthew about this, or Sathu. He was scrimming everybody. They had no egos when it came to scrims. But teams that are getting upset is because they are limiting their scrims to only top teams. Like, if you're not going to get any reps against these other teams, of course they're going to come out and smack you when you don't know what to expect from them. Like, why not go up against these teams in the week? Just get one scrim. All you need is one scrim just to see how they play. What?
You sound like an old boomer, man. Like, it make no sense, bro.
How does it not make sense, man?
Because unless this is why I said it a week ago. Unless you a G2, and it ain't you specifically, unless you're a G2 and Gen G, and then unless you are Carmine and Vitality, I think that everybody else has a shot of losing these things. Because those 4 teams, I do believe, well, I thought Gen G, so maybe not Gen G on that level it is, but at least those 3 teams, I think are that clear. Everybody else, so it's gonna be really hard. Like, you can't, it's gonna be really hard to beat them. Everybody else, Rocket League close game, bro. That delineation, that line of what is a pro and what isn't, or what is a top 8 team and what isn't, that comes down
it's gone
to
now?
it's very small.
I think people need to figure out where that line is.
It comes down to small adjustments. It's every inch. It's every inch, every second. Whether or not you grab this one boost pad, whether or not you got that one extra bump, that one extra demo, like that. Those are the margins that are determined series nowadays. And
it cars 2 centimeters off center of the ball in the challenge.
Yeah, like those are the margins. Unless you one of the best teams unless you literally are on the S tier class, which are very few teams on that level. Unless you're on the S tier class, there's a lot of teams grouped in the A tier. Now,
well, then they shouldn't be getting paid to play. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh,
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
I'm sorry.
That's a little crazy.
That's a professional level. You're playing at a professional level. You should be properly prepared in every sense of the way, man.
But what if they did prepare? They just lost.
They didn't properly prepare. They properly prepared, they wouldn't lose, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like we're just not critical enough, and this is why we're so inconsistent. Like, you're just giving them free passes to lose to these teams, like, over and over again. Like, they should not. This is exactly why we're struggling, and this is exactly why we're inconsistent. Like, be critical, be a harsh judge. This is how you put the feet to the fire, man. But we're not doing that. We're giving them free passes to lose to these teams they should never lose to.
I definitely agree with you there. And I think a lot has been made of North America work ethic, North America training, and things like that. And so, preparation obviously is going to make a difference. But again, I think that also speaks to T-Bates' argument about that gap not being as big, because if you're not like purely prepping, if you're not either scrimming those teams, or you're not making sure you're keeping up on these teams that you might be playing in the open bracket, then the fact that those teams can beat you after you not doing that means that the gap is really not that big. And that if the difference is just prep, that proves that you are better, and you should be better, and you should be winning. So you're right when you say that. But T-Bates is also correct when he says that not doing that is enough for these teams to get a one-up on you. So no, these teams shouldn't get a free pass, but also, like, they shouldn't get a free pass because it is that close. Like, and when I said close, like, I think that like I'm just saying, like, if the pro teams do the things that they're supposed to do, they will win these series. Shopify Rebellion won't be losing series that they shouldn't be losing, but they're not doing that. So that's why I'm saying I agree with both of you. I think both of you are kind of agreeing with each other. Like, I just think that it comes to actually putting in consistent work. Like, it's not good enough to make top 8, rest on your laurels, especially now.
You can't take a day off, and
you can never take a day off. But like, France doesn't take a day off. Okay, and there's a reason they have the most robust ecosystem in Rocket League. Those guys don't sleep; they eat, breathe, play, dream Rocket League. Like, their circuits are hardwired to play Rocket League. Okay, like, that is why they are a leg above everybody else right now, is because they literally care more. Like, and everyone can say that they care the same, but the work says one thing. Okay. And I'm just saying, man. NA they don't the work isn't there like it is for France in particular. I think when I don't want to say like EU because I do think France in particular in Europe is
I'm
completely
tired of
dominating
hearing
the
about
region.
France. Give me the next topic. No, I don't even know how we got to NA versus
Listen,
France
you
again. I'm
guys-
tired of hearing about France. I don't want to hear
It's not
about
NA
France
versus
no more.
France, dude. It's France versus
I-
the world.
It's-
I don't
it's
care
work
about France.
ethic,
We need
man.
to redraw the
I'm
line.
tired of hearing about how France does this. What's the next topic, bro?
They do. They
Let's
do.
talk about
Okay.
OCE, man.
Everybody. All right.
I'm tired of
I
hearing
get
about
it. I
France,
get it.
bro.
You know,
Oh my God.
sometimes I just really like to listen to y'all because y'all remind me of like so many other people. Like Raul Wiz takes, you remind me of Shaq sometimes when I see him on the NBOT.
Yeah,
You
delusional.
just gotta get the wins, man. You go out, you
Delusional.
play the games, you gotta get the dubs.
Delusional.
Like,
It's not
but
delusional,
also,
man. I'm
Mace
just being a
reminds me of
critic,
Chuck
man.
sometimes too, so it's funny. So.
I know, and then Jorby just pulled a Kenny the Jet talk,
He
somehow
did.
bringing up France and wanting to play Rocket League somehow. I don't even know.
Oh,
Oh, we're talking about preparation. Look, it's relevant. man.
I love
my
you
God.
guys. I love you
As annoying
guys.
as it might be. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, you know, we've shown a lot of love for our respective sides over the course of the show. Let's show some love to other regions around the world. Can you give me SSA standings, please, Ben? Limitless are champions in SSA again. Young Money Clan fail. Oh, I kind of moved ahead. I forgot a topic. We'll go back. We'll wrap around to that one a little later.
We ain't got no time, bro. Let's talk about the other region, bro.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll do this. So of course, here's the points right now for SSA. Limitless sitting at first place. They're almost qualified. I think you got to watch out for YMC. Definitely a developing story here. Any quick thoughts before we jump?
I'm so glad. I'm so
Oh,
glad.
go ahead, Jorby. Go ahead,
Limitless
Jorby.
are
Go ahead,
on top,
Jorby.
man. I don't want to see any non-SSA team up there.
Agreed.
I really don't.
Agreed.
Go back
That's all.
home.
Actually, they're not going home. They're taking a flight, and they're taking a flight to play
That's right.
qualifier 3. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference for you. I think the stop Limitless from making it. Limitless and YMC have to meet in top 8. Like they have to
Beat
meet.
'em there.
They have to meet right when the bracket starts. It ain't gonna happen. So
Let's take a
Limitless.
look at
We'll see you in
APAC. There.
Copenhagen.
We will see Limitless potentially in Copenhagen. We'll see this one. You see Elevating Gaming Gladiators tied now. Gladiators was able to reclaim the throne here in APAC. There's also a thing that's going on with LA Signal. They played in this last event here for APAC, and then afterwards, Nine was dropped from the roster after finishing second. So there was a bit of a change there, a little bit of some drama, but I mean, Jorby, thoughts on APAC?
I don't have a lot of thoughts on APAC. I'll be honest. This region, I just haven't been able to keep up as much with this split. So, but seeing Elevate at the top, unsurprising. Seeing Gladiators up there, really like seeing Gladiators do well. So that's really great for them. But seeing some of the points that Detonator and Chapati Dream, I like the competition here in APAC. In the past, previously probably a lot more one-sided, one team, but the point spread there, I'm excited to see what happens at the end for them.
Yeah, me too. It does look. It will be interesting to see between Elevate and Gaming, like who really ends up claiming that top spot. Now, of course, like we said, kind of still developing over there, but we want to go to OCE. OCE has been crazy. It has been crazy. We've been watching it. We have like a little running joke here on this show, Jorby, about Gus. If
How's my
Robles
man
knew
Gus
Gus
doing?
or not. Listen, Gus is in a 3-way tie for second right now. Okay, we got Chiefs, Gremlins, and Pioneers all sitting at that 18 points after the last event. But Power looking pretty good. I think Power did qualify for Copenhagen, so yes, they did. They ended up booking their ticket there. So now it's just about who's going to be that second team to join them. A lot of people were big on Pioneers coming in, but Raul, Chiefs, Gus, they got some fight in them.
Hey, Gus. Look, you make that international stage, Gus. We're gonna see what you are about, baby. Hey, I'm excited, baby. You better make that top 2. That's all I'm saying. I want to see you at the international stage, Gus. Come on.
I mean, that's a pretty good team. Hunter and Super Lackey those guys aren't any joke. Like I'd love to see Gus make
Yeah,
it.
but there's somehow, some way, Power's just whooping him.
Power's going crazy.
Torsos is an old
They got
man,
Torsos,
man.
bro.
Torsos
Torsos still balling though.
Torsos been playing for about 20,
you know what I think it
26
is?
years.
I think it's the revenge of Banana Head. I think it's the revenge of Banana Head.
Ooh.
Because remember,
The revenge of
Banana
Banana
Head,
Head.
he was on that Pioneers team, and where was Memphis? He's on that Power team. It seemed like a little bit of a swap. Some roster moves been definitely being made through the offseason. Banana's a good player. I think his biggest criticism was his performances on land, but I think that might have given him a little bit of extra motivation. We'll see how OCE develops.
I like
mean,
OC, man. OC's
I do.
OC, man. They're it's not the most clean gameplay, but I'll tell you what, it is enjoyable because there's a lot
Yeah.
of passion over there.
Definitely a lot of passion.
It's hard for me to watch APAC games because they be at a unreasonable hour for my sleep schedule. But also the OC games also do be, but sometimes randomly I'm up. And when CJ and them boys watching Gus and them and stuff like that, it's pretty fun to watch. They're pretty solid teams. Um, it's been interesting. I really got to pick CJ's brain on why the moves happen like they did. With the Amphis, Banana Head, Super Lucky, Switcheroos, why that course of action took place.
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
boys get a little chippy
I
with each
have a
other.
little insight on that.
Oh, you got the
personally.
Okay.
Just a little bit, just a little bit, because I remember these conversations were going on around Worlds time. They were trying to figure out what they want to do. I know KCP wants to win, that much is for sure. And I think that just based off of like again that those criticisms that were going on about Banana Head, they decided, okay, what do we do here? Do we want to invest and try to bring something up, or do we want to like make a team that can win? I think they chose to make a team that can win by bringing in Amphis and making those kind of changes. Of course, they had Hunter on the roster as well.
Ah,
So I feel like they were just trying to, consolidate that talent, make a push. But it hasn't been working out as well as we thought they would. Even us, we all had Pioneers winning the first time. They didn't win. They made top 8 this time around, and then they couldn't win again either. So something's going on over there. But I feel like
I know
just
it
based
is.
off of what I was hearing World's time, like that was just what led to some of those changes happening.
I know it is. If you want to win, you gotta get my boy Jimma. If you ain't got Jimma, you can't win. Yeah, best coach OC. Shout out my man Jimma. Love you, bro. Hope you been chilling. Yeah, he's best coach OC. Listen, you need the minds. The best coaches in the world are all winning. That's all I'm saying. They're all winners.
Typically,
Chiefs is also
the teams that win have the best coaches.
yeah. The Chiefs is also one of the best coaches.
That's facts. That's facts. Twice
Facts.
top 8 of
That's
Chiefs
facts.
coaching debut, dude. Oh my god, it's
Shout
so
out to
good.
Chiefs.
You asked me before who my allegiances lie with, and like, yeah, I'm casting for Dignitas. Love the Dig Boys, but I'm also raising the black flag, dude. I need a POAB top 4 in my life.
Well, you know
Like
what,
5
Jorby?
private. Andy looks good.
Listen, I hope that black flag has a Furia logo in it. Let's take a look at Sam here so you can talk about the Sam standings, Jorby. What has been going on in South America?
The points say everything. Outside of one grand final where Furia got swept, they're crushing this entire region. Watching their matches in Swiss and watching their matches in the playoffs, there's not a single team outside of Complexity that I think is truly going to contend with this team. They are actually the South American super team with Yan Lost and Drafinho.
We heard
Complexity looked pretty good still.
Right.
But I think Furia finally got them figured out, and them beating Complexity in the semifinal is huge for them because Raze Bulls had their number for years. But getting that win is huge for their mental. Ninjas and Pajamas, Crew, W7M, Team Secret, Bodybuilders, all those teams that you're seeing there, all those teams had looked really good against the teams against them. Like I believe it was Bodybuilders who took Ninjas and Pajamas to 5 in Swiss. Crew didn't even make it out of Swiss this time. To me, it just shows the depth that is getting us so much better in South America. Individually in the games, like I said, I think Furia and Complexity, I think they're kind of a cut above the rest, with Ninjas and Pajamas kind of right behind Complexity right now. So it's still a 3-horse race. Crew can absolutely bounce back. There's too much talent on that team for them to not. And I've loved Card ever since he first started playing in the RLCS. He's one of my 2 favorite players of all time, and part of the reason why I became such a huge Furia fan. And back when he was on, I believe it was Lotus in season 7 when Card first made his debut, he made me a fan instantly. So I'm still watching that Crew team. It's Card, AJG, and Bems. That team is way better than they are performing, at least on paper. So I hope they can figure it out and they could cause some chaos in the rest of that top 8 bracket. So, but it looks like it's going to be Furia, and outside, I think of Complexity or Ninjas in Pajamas really pooping the bed. We got clean sheets here for South America, I think.
Hey,
Okay.
man, listen. Just
Let-
let Jordan Bizzle go and talk to you about Sam. That's all you gotta do. Need
That's
an
right.
advocate?
That's
Get
right.
Jorby.
Real quick. Yes, chat. I know the points are wrong. The points are wrong. I think that was OCE's points put into the same thing. Of course, for those of you who do want to check out points, just go to liquipedia.net. All the standards, all the rankings are also up there in that tab. So But 28 points for Fury, 25 points for Complexity, Ninjas and Pajamas with 21, Crew with 14, W7M with 14. So, but everything Jorby said was on point. Fury is on top of the region. Things starting to look as close as ever. You're welcome, Chad. Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's close
But
it out, man.
that's right. You said, oh, dang.
Huh?
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock.
All right. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to keep the birthday boy too
This
much.
man wants to
Listen,
work
chat.
longer.
We wanted to expand a little bit on EU, but yeah, the show definitely. I mean, the yappening. That's what happened. So we'll end up talking about some of that stuff a little, probably later on our own channels. Of course, be sure to follow everybody who's been on the show today. They've definitely very knowledgeable on
let's
the
do like
game.
round 1.
And yeah, let's take a look at least. You want to take a look at round 1?
Yeah, let's look at round 1. We're gonna
Let's
do
take a
round
look
1 and then pick our
EU
winners.
Swiss round 1 here. Sub versus Team Hosky, Gentleman's versus K Corp, Vitality versus Caliente, BDS versus Redemption Cash, Top Cougars versus Forward, Magnifico versus Endpoint. Ooh, interesting. Belligo versus Oxygen, and Team 3 versus Oida. What are we? Let's see.
Carmi versus Gentlemates. That's crazy. See. What's see? I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to do some restructuring because that series right there could really mess over one of those teams. Whoever loses that.
Also, Oxygen, please do something.
Oh no, you don't have to worry about my boy Archie now. My boy Archie. My boy.
I've been
Archie,
worried
listen,
for 2 regionals.
listen, he bouncing back right here. But it's
Yeah,
only
they
been
on
one.
fraud watch
Okay.
right now, bro.
He's not on fraud watch. He's never on.
Is them bouncing back?
Zed?
Vitality? Yeah, what's going on with that? Do we
Zed's gonna
think,
be fine.
Alpha half
Yeah,
flipped
they're,
upfield.
they're
Next
bouncing
question.
back.
That's gonna be fine. I don't think I'm worried about Vitality.
All right. This is going to be really interesting here. Definitely like lots of little rooms. We'll see what happens. Yeah, gentlemen's K Corp to start things off. I like it. I want to see it.
Mhm.
Both teams know they got time to prep game plan for the round 1 match. I'm gonna be looking and locked in for that. So, but you know me, I'm still on the K Corp train. I think to take another one personal. Where I'm at with it. That being said, of course, Chad, please make sure to tune into Europe this Friday. It's gonna be a banger. Swiss is always a banger. Depending on where the bracket looks Saturday. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you not to tune in. That's up to you. That'd be your choice. But of course, keep it locked in on everything here with us on @FirstTouchRL and following us on all our socials. Gentlemen, we're getting ready to close out the day. Final thoughts from each one of you. We'll go Jorby, Bates, Diz.
Oh, me first. That's me. Hello. Well, thank you guys again for having me on. I'm really excited. Was just announced today that I'm going to be doing Top Cougars games on my stream on Friday for their Europe run in Swiss. And that's Gregan, Cochin, Acro, Toxic, and Relating Wave. So I'm really excited. Go Cougs! But yeah, guys, as always.
Wait, what's the
thank you
Twitch
for-
handle?
Twitch.tv/JorbyPLS, the same handle that you see.
Jorby
below.
PLS. So is that JORBYPLS?
That's right.
Okay,
In
okay,
chat,
and-
too.
One
Thank
and
you,
the
Terry.
same.
Okay, one and the same. All right, nice. Wait, don't
Yeah.
you? Where can the people find you usually, Jorby?
Yeah, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch are the biggest places. TikTok is gonna get going at some point, but yeah, my handle's the same on every single platform at JorbyPLS. So definitely give me a follow if you're not. That'd
follow.
be sick.
Oh, the boy to follow. Put some W's in the chat for Jorby. W's in the chat and hearts in the chat for Jorby. Jorby's man. Y'all know what he do. Y'all know what he bring to the table. Give him some love.
Thank you. And W First Touch, you guys are awesome. Really good getting to hang out with you guys again and talk some Rocket League. Always love hanging out with y'all.
Always love talking to you, man. All right, Bates. Final thoughts.
I have nothing.
Diz.
Happy birthday, Bates. Shout out Jorby, Johnny, and Retals for being on. Always love having y'all. And yeah, that's it.
All right, everybody who's been a part of the show, of course, thank you guys for tuning in. And we appreciate all of your interaction, both in chat and online. We'll see you guys as the conversation develops. For those behind the scenes, all of the staff on First Touch, we appreciate you guys working day in and day out to make this show as great as it is. Much love to you all as well. On behalf of Epic Games, Psyonix for letting us run this on the channel, we very much appreciate it. And of course, on behalf of us, Raul, Bates, and myself, thank you guys. Well, yeah, thank you two for also coming on and doing what you do every week in, week out. Happy birthday, Bates. Hope you get to enjoy the rest of your day. Hope it's beautiful and you have a good time. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. Keep it locked in here on First Touch. 1, 2, toodaloo. We'll see you guys.